And do you have the link to this stream? I want to invite. Let me see if I can find the link. 1 second. Oh shoot! Let me pop over to Rockfin. 1 second, guys. Let me just shoot. I forgot all about getting all set up in Rockfin. What was that? Someone else just. Oh, that's Angelica. Content management. 1 second. I forgot all about that. Oh, there's 9 people in. It's I can't see the chat yet, but we're just going to say flat talk. Sorry about the banging on the keyboard. It's a one-time thing. Just want to go live here on Rockfin. Go live. All right, so we're live on Rockfin, and we're live on YouTube, and we're live on Twitter. And we got some. Okay, we got Run Boston Bear. Oh yeah, let me grab this thing. That's JT. Got it right now. Blood Sticker. Hello, everybody. Brenda's here. Hey, Brenda. I'm trying to line you up with your debate with Joe Hill. We're working on it. Let's see.
Yeah, anybody who's watching live at the moment, as you probably noticed, Angelica there, she's on a mass drive, and she's in and out of mountains, so we'll probably keep losing her in and out.
Yep. 1 second. I'm just looking down. Yeah, and Brenda, I saw you over on Flatzoid's channel. I just, I'm disappointed in you. I want to let you know that. I thought we had some loyalty here, but saw you over there. 1 second. I'm just going to share this link. I'm looking for the link. I've almost got it. Sorry about that. Let me see. Here we go.
Good evening, Stuart. Good evening, everybody in the chat. I've been good. Angelica. And you?
Wonderful.
Excellent. So, are you actually on your way?
When I get to a spot where I can pull over, I'll give you guys a panoramic of this beautiful mountain range.
Nice.
But if I stop now, I might slide the edge because it's a little icy. So I'll wait till I can get to a dry, flat spot.
All right, I'm gonna let's see if we can get someone in. I'm gonna share the link. Although this is just for flat earthers. I don't want to debate anyone today, right? I'll set up a time and let everyone know when Brenda's going to debate. But today it's just this link. I'm only going to let you in if you're a flat earther. That is the link for today's. Just if you're a true earther, right? Come on in. I don't want to debate anyone today. So we'll try to get forward. Come in, share your story. Tell us about yourself. Again, that was the whole talk, like Flat Talk Roundtable. I originally called it Flat Earth Chronicles, but I'm trying to distance myself from the two words together of flat earth. So flat talk's different, right? Little play on words, right? Flat talk. But trying to get away from that algorithm.
Yep.
So Stuart, what's new with you, man? What's been going on? Anything in the world of True Earth?
No, not really. As per, just started a new job last week and everything, doing something different. So I've been concentrating a lot on that. But as far as just the usual stuff that I watch. I've got a guy who I talk to. He's very into his conspiracy stuff. He's aware, obviously, of the true realm we live in. But there's a guy who I speak to a lot called Willis Butts. He wants to join us one time on the show. I don't know if he's joined us at the moment. If he's in the chat or he's come to the channel, let us know, Willis, if you're there. And I did say I'd mentioned him, and one time I think he wants to come in and have a debate. Well, not so much a debate, but a little chat. So I did say he could probably join us one day. I'd have conflab with yourself. See if you're all right, if you're up for that. But
Yeah.
I mean, if he's watching, I don't know if he's watching at the moment. I gave him the link and I said, like, I mean, what is he? He's in Texas, so he's an hour behind you. So
Can you share that link? When I share it, it looks weird. It's got Facebook. I don't know. If you can share the link for today's, I just want to see if anyone wants to jump in. If anyone wants to join us, that's the point. Flat Talk Roundtable.
what changed? What share the link that?
Yeah,
Right,
for the restream. Just I'm not sure. Let me know if you tried to
Right.
click it and it doesn't work. If anyone tried to click it and it doesn't work, but if you want to come on and talk, come on in, man.
Hold on, I'm going to put it into. That's the.
There it is. That's it. That's the right one.
Yeah, I think that's the one. That's the link to join us. If anybody wishes to join us in this the studios here.
And I've got like an update, nothing major, just an update I'm going to share. I'd like to hopefully get a few more people in, just like a couple of the regular faces.
Yeah. Let's get a few more.
But it's nothing.
Let me
nothing.
refresh that because it still say there's only 4 waiting. So I'm going to have to refresh that. Just gonna get
I show 26 people in right now. So.
Yeah, I've got 26 now. Yes. And welcome to all the chat. But yeah, just to get going, get a few people in here, have a thing about. But no, I was having a bit of a chat today. We got into some interesting stuff. But I just wanted to bring up with you that we were debating like, because he's mad on his he is mad on his conspiracy theories and whatever. And one of the big ones which he loves talking about or trying to wake people up to is the 9/11, obviously, which I think woke a lot of people up, the 9/11 particular incident. But there's been that many, like I say, there's been that many red flags. I mean, I've pretty much stopped going down that rabbit hole now because, like I was mentioning to him, that I pretty much now sort of like dedicate myself on bringing people the awareness of this realm now that we live in. That, I mean, we're told lies left, right, and centre, red flags, lies about who did what did who, all the, like you say, the shootings, 9/11. All that rubbish goes on, and you can wake people up to it. And my theory is you can wake people up to that, but they go straight back to sleep. It's one of them. Oh, okay, right. It was a deception. We were deceived. Yeah, okay, right, fine, no problem. But I think one of the biggest lie that's ever been sort of like inflicted upon the human race is the flat Earth or the realm that we live in. So I think is where I mainly concentrate myself on now, is trying to wake people up to this flat realm that we actually live in. And I think once you wake them up to that and they're open to that idea, and then they go and do their own investigations, which is what it needs. You can't listen to someone, can you, Bobby? You can't just listen to someone if you're either if you're not there and you're still on that ball, or you're even on the fence, unless you do your own investigations properly. I don't think you'll ever fully come on board. And until I think once you have come fully on board, like they always say, once you've gone flat, you don't go back. And I think that then opens your mind up to all the rest of the deception that's going on. Basically, I think. So yeah, I was having that conversation today with a right mad one, and obviously we were talking about the geopolitical side of everything, which me and you have little sort of differences on, but
well, that's fine. Like I think real things happen in the world. Like I think people are dying in Ukraine. Like I do believe that, right?
Yeah. Oh, they definitely
I just the one thing we differ on is I just think that there's a script, and but I don't, we won't go into it. We don't, I know we see that differently. It's not a big deal. Let's just focus on what we're connected on.
I'll have to look into that. Sorry, you just road busted there. Have you ever seen that particular video?
I was going to bring that up. I was waiting for you. I was waiting for a break, and I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah.
I was gonna. It's funny because he read my mind. That's exactly what I think about. You can't just jump into flat Earth, right, or true Earth. You can't. Yeah. It's too much. You can't. I mean, like I say, if you're still clinging onto your ball, and that's your belief.
and I'm not directing this at anybody in particular, Brenda, but if you if you're clinging to that ball, or even if you're on the fence slightly as to which way to go, as I say, whatever we could say on this particular live stream probably is never going to convince you to say, "Oh yeah, man, we live on a yeah." I mean, all we can do basically is just show people doors that they've probably never gone through, and unless you're if you're not willfully ignorant to attempt to go through those doors and look into it and truly, I mean, I always tell people, first of all, if you're still clinging to your ball, what are your beliefs for that ball, and then analyze properly, because a lot of people don't even know their own system, do they? They're defending this heliocentric world, and yet they don't know anything about it. We probably know more about the heliocentrism than they do, and yet we're on the side of the sort of flat realm.
Yeah, I think there's a litmus test, right? Like, if they're not woke with like 9/11 or the FED printing money and all this, there's so many.
Yeah. Like you said in the past, I think if you ask someone sort of like, what's the script? What's the script we're building 7? And they'll say, what do you mean? What's the script we're building? And then sort of like, and then you know that they haven't got into 9/11 and the sort of like, well, again, the crap, the official story of 9/11 is just so bullshit. Then you say to him, "Oh, you believe that 2 buildings took down 3?"
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. What hit it? But, so it's a staircase, right? Like, you got to work your way up to it. You can't just, if you throw true earth at someone, they're not going to be there. Glad to see you, Angelica. How you doing? No one wants to join us today.
I made it over one mountain pass and I'm in the valley of another. So I'm just going to keep dipping in like a paratrooper and pick it up on the tail end of your conversations.
All right.
Are you actually on your way home now, Angelica?
No, I'm on my way to go pick up a violin from like an hour and a half away, but I got to go up over a mountain pass and back down to get there, like over the river.
You're cutting out again.
Keep talking because I heard staircase.
We can't hear you. You're cutting out.
I think she's mentioning something about staircase and
yeah, she said. I think she was just saying she heard it.
Nah.
Yeah, I'm gonna mute her for a second. Like,
no.
Well, okay, nothing's going.
So did you say that you'd seen the staircase of disbelief?
Me, I had. Yeah, it's been years. I can't. You know what's funny is I don't remember the full video, but oh, there she goes. She's back. She looks to be moving now. I remember recommending it to some friends, and one of my friends really loved it. A friend of mine named Brent, but he it's like one of his favorite things to bring up. Right? He's always like, "Oh, Staircase of Belief," and I was like, "Oh, I knew it was good, but yeah, it is really good. I recommend that to everyone.
You'll have to watch that. Is that on YouTube? Yeah. Is it on YouTube?
Yeah.
And I take it's just a one-off.
Yeah, JT, share that link if you can. If not, I'll look for it here in a minute and share it. Excellent. I think I can't remember who I was looking at it. I actually saw that I was on the channel of the guy who made it the other day, right? I can't remember if it was Flatwater FE or I just remember I was going through all my channels just looking for new content, and I have about like 170. I sent it to my Telegram. Hold on. Yeah, 1 second. Here it is. No. Oh, there it is. Okay, yeah, he sent it here. Hold on 1 second. Just grab the link. Why can't I copy the link? All right, hold on. I'm just trying to figure out how to
What's that for? Is that for that video?
I think he sent me the video. I don't think this is a link to the YouTube channel. Yeah, he actually sent me the video. Well, I'm not going to play it right now, but you can just type in
No.
staircase of disbelief.
Yeah, I am. I'm just going to have a look now.
Yeah, Angelica, you're all choppy. You're choppy. Whenever you start moving again, I'll let you know. Kind of going in and out of signal.
Okay, I'll try not to get frozen on a space.
Good luck with that. I'm always
Just for your entertainment. Okay.
Yeah, I want to here. I'll say, so we got 40 people in, 41 people in. I just want to say like 8 quick sentences real quick. So someone, it's funny because I get some messages and people are like, I love what you're doing. And some people are saying, stick to this. And some people are saying, some people, I've got like 1 or 2 emails where they're like, you're going off the rails, right? Like meaning, and I just want to say, I have no idea what I'm doing. If you all think I don't even claim to be any kind of prophet or anything. Like I have no idea what I'm doing. I just like talking about it. That's all. That's why, again, I've said this several times. This is just a place for me to talk about True Earth, right? I think that if you talk about it, you learn how to have conversations about it. That was my intent, right? Was to interact with different people, more people, right? Because I never get to interact with people, right? And it's something I want to talk about. No one wants to talk about it. So that's all this was, right? And a side effect of having this forum is that other belief systems are going to come up because they're intermingled, right? Like your eschatology and your what you believe as far as your what your religion is or isn't. And just want to say that not everyone is religious. I am. I'm a Christian. I'm a new Christian, so I'm still confused about everything I'm learning. Like Trinity, it's confusing to me. Like sometimes I'm confused. Who do I pray to? Like is one wrong or right? There's a lot of things that are confusing to me. Right? There's some things that are confusing to me about that. But some people are mad. They're like, don't talk about religion. You're going off the rails. And I'm like, I think it's okay to talk about it. I'm not saying I'm saying I'm a Christian on a religious journey, right? Like, and I'm saying I'm young on it. So for anyone who's like upset that I'm not representing it, I'm not trying to represent it. I'm presenting myself as a child in regards to Christianity. I don't want to make the channel a religious channel. That's not my goal. But I wanted to save one day a week, like Sundays. Tomorrow we're going to have Pastor Russell on, which Stuart is hopefully may or may not join us. I don't know. Haven't heard back yet. And Angelica may or may not join us. We'll see. I invited them, but kind of wanted to try to keep our religious talks focused more towards Sundays. All right. Even though technically it should be Saturdays. Maybe I'll change that, right? Because Saturday is the Sabbath.
That suits me.
But we'll shift our Sundays too. So we'll talk about that, but something I just now thought about. And then I just wanted to say this isn't about me, right? It's just about everyone. Everyone's welcome to come on. That's why I called it the round table, and I'll share the link. Just come on, talk about it. I don't have an ego. This channel isn't about me. And wait a minute, one more sentence. Hold on.
Bobby, can you hear me, or am I out of service?
I hear you now.
Okay. What you were just discussing, I believe is good in the sense of you having so many trails off the main source of True Earth, because it's much like going to a holistic doctor of sorts. I mean, you can go to a commercial type doctor, mainstream, and they'll prescribe you a prescription, and oftentimes they're not going to ask things such as your sleep pattern or your diet or anything else, and you'll get this one prescription that covers everything, but it doesn't really cover the root source. And so I think things such as, obviously, religion, science, politics, are what do you call it? The summit meetings and all those things. All of that, airline pilots, everything is a holistic approach. I mean, I think we're all getting to a point where we'd rather go to a holistic type doctor that says, oh, okay, your thyroid is acting up. How are you sleeping? How are you eating? How are you around chemicals? Is there mold in your air conditioning unit? You know, those things, as opposed to here's a good prescription, take this, call me in the morning. And so your channel does that. It addresses all those points. And from that, you can get a much better picture of what really is going on. Hey, I don't know if you can see it, but I was going to point to, because I know, Bobby, you don't have snow. I don't know if you, hold on. Can you all see that mountain range?
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's beautiful. What?
So you see that top? That's the ski slopes. There's 4 of them. I don't know if you can see that or not. Is that too far away?
How far away is that? How far away would you say that was?
That's probably about a 2-hour drive to get to those ski slopes.
2-hour drive. So you're probably talking close on 100 miles away.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. It's flat.
And that,
flat.
We can see, and we can see the top of that 100 miles away.
Yeah, you can see the bottom too. But I wanted to stop and show you this beautiful. I'm gonna do a panoramic. And it looks like those are clouds in the back. Well, hold it. This white is the gray in my hair, but that white, you get a little salt and pepper action. But all these white, it's not clouds, it's snow-capped mountains. So I was going to share that with you before I keep driving.
That's lovely.
It's beautiful, right?
Is it cold?
What's that? Today's
cold?
not bad. It's almost 30 degrees today, so it's not bad.
Good. Yeah. Nope.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna give the conversation back to you all. I just wanted to share how beautiful it is, and before I lose sight of those ski slopes.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So back to what I was saying. Again, I don't claim to be any expert at anything. I believe the earth is flat and stationary. I think I understand it. I think I have I think I have a good brain for figuring this stuff out. I believe in myself. I don't think I've been fooled. So I'm confident to talk about that, and I'll talk about that again with confidence. When it comes to religion, I'll admit, like I'm learning, but I'm definitely a Christian on having a religious journey, and I'm learning. But I wanted to throw that out there because some people thought that I kind of did a disservice, and I'm
no.
like,
No. It's like I said. I think it's like what Angelica says. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think there's a topic you shouldn't be able to not talk about. If that means just because, I mean, we don't, as we've proven in the past, we don't dedicate this channel, especially like this Saturday evening show here. I mean, you have your own shows that you're probably doing. You dedicate them to certain guests coming on, be they religious, be they whatever their forte is and whatever their speciality is. That's where the channel's going. But I believe, or I like to think, that this Saturday show that we're doing on a regular basis now at 7:00 is pretty much, we can cover any topic. So.
Yeah, and we'll probably keep this going. I just realized when I said it that so one of the things I didn't know a few years ago, I thought you were supposed to go to church on Sunday, right? And I learned that the Sabbath is actually for Saturday, right? Like
Saturday, right?
I remember the day I learned that, and I was like, oh, Sabbath, Sabado, right? It's for Latin, it's like anyway.
It's the Sabbath. It's a Sabbath right now, sunset to sunset.
Yeah. So today. So, but it's okay. We can have a religious roundtable any day of the week. But I did want to have one day where I like the fact that Pastor Russell would be joining us because he's a pastor, I think that is cool that a pastor with a congregation is out there spreading true earth truth, right? And I was watching, I got turned on to 2 channels, and I want to drop these 2 channel names because if you're a Christian, and I think I'm late to this party anyway. There was a lot of people I was following. I was following Kent Hovind and Ken Ham and Tim Mackey and a bunch of other people. And I had seen Hanging on His Words, Ken Heidebrecht. But recently, as I watched more, I realized he is a phenomenal resource. And then I can't believe I'd only just now found out about Kingdom in Context. And I personally think that Kingdom in Context and Hanging on His Words are the two best Christian channels out there, hands down. They both preach true earth, and they both know the Bible inside and out.
Yeah, well, like I've said and I mentioned before, obviously I can't come from a biblical point of view. I don't know enough. I don't confess to know anything in regard. I just know, obviously, like I've studied a few sort of like verses, which sort of like what I have learned.
And that's fine. We don't, everyone's welcome. Again, we're here for this. This is here to talk about, and I think that's great. That I want that diversity in here. Like I actually enjoy that. I enjoy that we can all.
Oh, by the way, I'm just going to say hi because he's just popped in. Frank Goodman. Yes. Good evening. Oh, well, good evening for me. Good afternoon for yourself. That's Frank Goodman in the chat there. That's who I was telling you about. Who I have these little debates with on our private little chats regarding anything really, anything conspiratorial.
He's welcome to come on if he wants to come on. He's more than welcome.
I forgot the name of those. What are those? The names of those circle charts where they all overlap and then there's that small center part of commonality. What are those charts called?
I don't know I know exactly what you're talking about, but I don't know the name of that chart. But
yeah, I feel like that everything that even the three of us together here and any other topic or guest that you bring on is one of those circles with the center point being flat earth. I feel like just how you two were just talking about of each of us can say, I don't know enough about, like when y'all start talking technical stuff, I'm like, I have no idea what. I'm just going to trust you blindly because that's my extensive expertise. And so we each have areas where we can say, I feel confident in this. I have no clue about this, but just like those charts, our circles overlap, I think pretty convincingly on that. Allows us to have these types of conversations.
Yeah. Stuart, Frank said he'd love to come on. If you want to share that link again, he's welcome to join us. So in regards to, we'd love to have you come on. We can share you the link. Mr. Nick said, any more ideas on the 24-hour sun? I do plan on visiting there. Ushuaia. I'm going to try to do it, but from what I understand, everyone that goes there says it's like a cloud deck there constantly. Like, what are the odds? It's like so spooky. Like there's this cloud deck. You can't see when the sun comes up or goes down. There's this constant 24-hour. Everyone I've been able to communicate with so far has said that, and every video I found has this same issue, this 24-hour, this cloud deck that just will not go away in Ushuaia. But it's not going to stop me from trying to go there and obtain some type of evidence. Is Bigfoot real? I don't entertain it. I'm not saying it's not. I haven't seen anything that,
I got a question about the 24-hour sun. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go on, Angela. We're gonna grab you while we can because you're in and out.
yeah, I am. The 24-hour sun, is there video or testimony as to people being in the air with the 24-hour sun? It would almost seem like it would be a cat and mouse game, right? You fly in the same, I don't know, how would that look? So you got 24-hour sun circling fairly tight above you, and if you're in an airplane at that point, what do you see?
I don't even know if there's an airport in Ushuaia. It's a tiny little town at the the bottom of Argentina is like almost desolate. It's almost like for backpackers and whatnot. It's just, you would most certainly have to drive there. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that there's any flights that get that view from that parallel, right? That's the lowest parallel we can get to without taking some crazy expensive trip to the peninsula, the Antarctic Peninsula. So not a lot of people have been there. There's just not a lot about it. I tried to reach out to people on Facebook. I probably sent 200 messages and no one got back with me. I thought that was odd. Like, I wondered if my messages made it to them. I tried to reach out to people that had Ushuaia in a tag on Facebook. I searched for Ushuaia, and there was people that like lived there and people that had visited there, and I spent like a day messaging people and no one got back to me because I wanted to ask them. I wanted to, of course, who knows if maybe Facebook, the thing of it is if we did live in an Orwellian thing where everything was being monitored and it was to the extent that we thought, the reality of it is they could just link us up with a troll, right? Or whatever you want to call it. They could link us up with someone to feed the information that they want to get. Like the only real way to know is to go there.
Or if it's that small of a place, maybe the postmaster is also the town doctor and is also the baker, and he just hasn't gotten around to delivering your electronic Morse code message by hand, perhaps.
Right.
Maybe he's got to walk it to the appropriate person.
Right. By the way, that's called a Venn diagram. Thank you for that. This is TNT. That Frank said he wanted to jump in. I don't know if you posted that thing again. That would be cool if he did jump in. Yeah, same thing. Big
how about I'll tag team him because I'm heading up the mountain again. So like a WWF tag team match. I'll tag out, he'll tag in.
All right. Yeah, I would much rather go there myself, right? Like, no doubt about it, Big Pine Sailing. Like, I'd much rather go there myself. Just like they faked the 24-hour sun. We needed that evidence. What they do, they faked it. So you don't know if what you're getting is real unless you go there yourself.
Well, that's it, isn't it? And yeah, I mean, like I say, and they were on about Bigfoot before and all these things. I mean, there's nothing evidential that's been proven to me that Bigfoot even existed. I mean, it's the same with does the Loch Ness monster in the Scotland Nessie does that exist? I don't know. Never had concrete proof.
And some things it's like, is there any reward and even wasting time on it? Like what would it change?
Well, exactly. Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The irony is people say that about True Earth, right? They're like, what would it change? And it's like, oh my God, my head wants to explode. If you only had an idea, you have no clue.
I had this discussion. Yeah, I had that discussion with William today, Frank Goodman, who's in the chat now. I had that chat with him today. I mean, the usual argument, isn't it, is from a lot of sort of like ballers who it's like sort of like why would they are they all lying? Why would they all lie? What's the lie about? What difference does it make? And yeah, just the same as you. When I get that question, it's like sort of like you don't realize that for the last 100 years or so, that the indoctrination that you've been indoctrinated into sort of like puts you on this prison ball, and that there's no more. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, speculation, but there's infinitely more things to find out, and that's what the difference it makes. That we could have more advanced civilizations. That, I mean, Dave Wise does a good one now, doesn't he? On his thingy-bob about, have you've seen the one with the large ship that's transporting supposedly, I mean, a huge cargo ship, and it on the tracker it tracks it within in Antarctica, but it's apparently going to and from, or well, it's coming from and going to an island in the South Pacific called Kabut. I forgot now. If anybody in the chat's watched this particular presentation from Dave Wise, you could probably enlighten me on this one. But there's an island called Kabut or something or other. But it's an island that nobody's ever heard of, and yet this huge, humongous cargo ship sails out of there and goes supposedly through Antarctica, which is a signal that they could be trading through the channels through Antarctica, because one of his theories is, isn't it, that there is a fear of possible global warming, because when the sun is out on the Tropic of Capricorn, that at some points it melts out a channel, through Antarctica, which is to the elite and to the powers that be have got a trading route going on. It's possible. So
interesting. No, I haven't seen that. And you'll have to send me the link to that when you get a chance. If you think about it, I'll look for it.
Yeah. Well, if you look at a lot of if you look at a lot of his latest podcasts or his interviews, he talks a lot about it. He brings it up quite a bit, and it's really, really interesting. But it's like he says, you don't know what the trade. They could be. I mean, they could be They could be trading children, drugs, whatever. But there's a tracker system. I'm gonna have to look. I've never actually looked into it myself, but there is on the internet there is a tracker system where you can track cargo. You can track cargo ships, and apparently, like he says, he spotted one in Antarctica. And it tells you where and to it's coming from, what they've got on board, and all this. But that one's pretty. Just tells you. I think the description on it's pretty limited. So
SimClaw.
That's it. Is it Kabuti? Richie says in the chat Kabuti. I'm not quite sure if that's Karabuti. It's Karabuti or something.
Just let me know when you find that link. I'd love to watch it. SimClaw said, FE Coffee, I like your videos a lot. Would you address online the meaning of Yahweh? I believe it is the anchor in these times, a starting point, explanation, anchor. Thank you for your work. The only reason I wouldn't do that is because I'm not an authority on it. Like, do I know who Yahweh is? Yes. Do I refer to him as Yahweh? I think that's his name, right? I know enough to know that the Hebrews believed you wasn't supposed to say his name. It was a very secret name. I know that, but I'd love to know more about. I'd love to be able to do a video on it, but that's, maybe I'll have that knowledge in a year or 2 or 5 years. I don't know how long it takes to get. But I watch some of these other channels, and they're just way ahead of me. So again, like something I touched on earlier is I'm just such a young Christian, right? That I wouldn't want to do a disservice to it. Doesn't mean I don't believe it. I just don't want to do a disservice to it. But give me some time. It's possibly in my future, eventually for sure. But yeah, if you see that, do you know what the name of that video was? I would like to see that video. Can you? What would I search for on it?
Just one sec. I'll go on. So say there's a lot of his. I don't know if you want to. I'll have a look now.
He said it's Kiribati Island. Richie said
Kiribati. It's something like that. Yeah.
Kiribati.
Yeah, it's something like that. And what I'll do is, if I can at the moment here, just give me 2 secs. I'll hunt it out and find that section. I don't know if.
Frank said, if we had real enemies out there, we would be toast. Your fear is the work of the great deceiver. I believe in the great deceiver, absolutely. But I also believe that there is true evil out there, right? There can't be good without evil, right? There has to. That's the whole point. When we ate from the tree of, when our greatest grandparents, right, Adam and Eve, ate from the tree of good and evil, this loosed that on earth, right? All of a sudden evil was introduced. We wanted to know what that was. That was our choice right there. We wanted to know good from evil. Well, you have to have evil, right? That's why Satan is on this earth. That's why he was loosed. You have to have it. You can't have the knowledge of good and evil without evil. So yes, there is evil on this earth. There is. And I do believe in the stories of the pizza, thing that we cannot say, maybe, I don't know. But I think that children do go missing. They do get sacrificed. I think they're still making child sacrifices, as in the days of Babylon, right? They still worship and praise Moloch and Baal. Absolutely. SimClaw, what do the letters? I don't know what the letters mean, but I know in Hebrew, every letter has a meaning, right? I've studied Hebrew for about 6 months. It's like trying to study quantum physics or something, it's not easy, but I have read the Bereshit prophecy, which is like the beginning of the Bible. You read the letters tell a story, because when Hebrews read the Bible, you have the meaning of the words, but every letter has a meaning as well. So if that's what you're referencing about that, I mean, or maybe you mean something else, I'm not sure. But Sim Klaus, send me something. If you have something, like, send it to me. I'd love to see it. Like, if you know, send me the best source for that. I will definitely watch it. And Hanging on His Words is, oh, so I'll check it out. Hanging on His Words has a video on Yahweh, I guess. I hadn't seen that one.
I've just tried to as well. I've tried to look up that. How long is that video? You know, the one, the staircase.
Staircase of Disbelief.
Yeah.
So Frank said, yes, there is evil, but its power over mankind is an illusion. I don't know. Like, here's the thing is, I think what you're saying by that is, like, it's a choice of whether evil affects you. I think there's been people who have led their best lives and their children have been taken from them, right? I think evil affects all of us. I don't think anyone has the choice to just not partake in evil. That's why you're here. I believe so far, with the limited knowledge I have, that we experience this as a real place. And it is a real experience, but I mean, from God's, I shouldn't say sorry. But from God's standpoint, this might as well be a simulation. It might as well, right? I mean, if he can conjure up whatever he wants and make anything happen and make, turn us off and turn us on, make us go away. I mean, it's just like me programming something, right? So I think it's very real. But we don't have a choice to not partake in evil. I don't have that choice, Yeah, I don't think we'd all be facing this this thing we've had going on for the last 2 or 3 years, right? If we could just choose to not partake in it. People that are saying, oh, I refuse to take that, of what's going on in Australia, they're being locked up, right? And China, even worse, right? They can't even leave their apartments, So some of the stuff, they don't have a choice to not partake in it. Boston Bear said, what's the link to hop on?
Sorry.
Can you share that one more time? I'll scroll up and see if I can find it. But JT, if you scroll up, I'm scrolling up now.
The link is, I put the link in the chat. I'll put it in again if you want.
Here it is. I got it. It won't let me. That's frustrating because it won't let me copy it, but yeah, darn it.
I'll put the link. Hold on a sec. Put the link to the stream, because I put the link there again in the restream.
You shared it again? Awesome. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah,
there
that's for the restream link. If you want, that's for anybody if they want to join us live in this chat. The link is just there in the chat.
Frank, I agree with you that evil will lose, right? Like, I do agree with that. Okay, JT, my brother, what is going on, man? Y'all, this guy's, can you hear me? JT?
Yeah. I can't hear anything.
Hello. You may need some headphones or speakers. There is a little, I'm not sure why you can't hear anything. Try to find a settings area. There is a settings area where it has an audio where you can choose your audio. So you should, down on the bottom, you should see a little settings, and you should be able to choose your audio.
If you can't hear anything, he's not gonna. I can't hear you for some reason.
He said I am very familiar with the Yod and the Vav, Sim. Yeah, I just watched a video on the Vav with Trey Smith, right? But he's not the only person I watch. I watch lots and lots and lots of channels, but I love seeing things explained from radically different points of view. JT, can you hear us?
I think he's having trouble with his audio.
Maybe go out and go back in. He's going to go out and go back in. Sorry about that. He's a good guy. He's a friend, and I think he'd bring a lot. but everyone's welcome to jump in, guys. Just for, I think if we got to maybe 5, we'd probably hold it right there for a bit, but that could get kind of chatty if we got to 5. Let's see. There's no video on it. Just common knowledge. Okay, I didn't realize it was that simple. Yeah, I mean, again, I know who Yahweh. I mean, I didn't realize that I could just do a Google search and it would give me this this unimaginable in-depth knowledge. But I will do that. I mean, I'm not sure that I'm going to find the exact same thing that you're referencing. I mean, is it just so you're saying if I just search Yahweh and click on the top link, I'm gonna see what you want me to understand about it? Because that's how I'm interpreting it. I mean, I'll do that today if that's all you want me to do. And he's just saying, dude, 4 letters, Google them, YHWH. All right, let's see. Hello. Rob, we got a Rob in here. Hey, Rob, can you hear us? We do.
I can hear you.
All right, welcome.
Perfect. All right. I'm at work right now, so I'm just gonna keep my mic on, but I might get some hot mics if people come into the shop. But I've been in this community for a long time, probably 8 years now. So figure I could come in and give you some insights if you need any.
Why do I have to constantly be in the baby of this particular journey? Everybody's been in here a while. Everybody's been in here pretty while, and I'm the baby. It's not that long for me.
Just trying to set my camera up so I can still work.
Yeah, no worries. Tell us a little bit about yourself, a little background, whatever you want to share. Obviously, you don't have to share anything you don't want to.
Well, I'm a mechanic. I'm just installing some rock lights in a truck right now, and I listen to YouTube videos all day, every day while I'm working, mostly on this existence that we're living in. Just try and provide for my family, But I love the conversations that we have in this community. I lost audio. Maybe a bad connection.
So we're watching a flat Earth mechanic at work.
I'll try not to make too much noise.
Bobby, you've gone quiet. Are you muted? Are you muted, Bobby?
No.
I was muted. Yeah, I don't know how long I've been talking into mute. Sorry about that. I did turn that down. I don't know, not kind of going over the conversation there. Yeah, no worries, man. Where are you at? If you don't mind us asking, Rob.
In Canada.
Oh, okay. Didn't even catch so how do you say ABOUT? Is it a boot?
Oh.
I'm just seeing if he's a real Canadian, right? We know how just joking, guys, not trying to insult anyone. Just the good old boot joke. And it seems like we lost him. So
I was Trudeau.
Not sure what happened.
Trudeau these days.
Does anyone know where I can find someone redid the Gleason map. It's got a blue one. That's going around. There's a really high resolution version one, and it has a blue outline. I don't know. I know you can order them off Amazon, but that's not an electronic version. You can get a big blown up version. We lost him. Rob Kin said Trey. Yeah, Trey Smith is man, I just love how that guy, he's been researching forever, and he just ties that stuff back to an older history. I love it. JT, can you hear us now?
I can now. I don't know what was wrong a minute ago, but I can hear you.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Looking good.
Excellent.
Um,
Excellent.
Introduce yourself to the people here. I know you know a lot of these people, but give us a little bit of.
Yeah, I'm
You guys got me
only.
back there?
Oh, there's Rob.
Yeah, sorry, I tried to mute and I dropped right out. So I've never used this streaming before.
Yeah, it's Restream. It's it really makes hosting a live stream really easy. But yeah, you got to get used to it. But
Do you have any idea where the mute button is on a phone?
it should show a little microphone like down towards the bottom. There's a little mic button, a little circular mic button.
Oh, way over there. Okay, I'm just gonna be on mute and listening in.
Yeah.
When I got something to say, I'll jump in.
Okay, great. I appreciate that. So go ahead, JT. Sorry about that. Give us a little background if you don't mind.
Oh yeah, no problem. And I'm definitely the baby here, so you can totally relax. I heard you're like 3 years in, right? Plain truth.
Yeah, 4 years in. Yeah, of being
I'm
being
probably.
100% out and knowing.
Oh, if you're talking about like being open and out about it, I'm less than 6 months. I'm probably right at 11 or 12 months being like sure that we're stationary and not rotating, and that the whole heliocentric, idea philosophy is
Yeah.
is a lie. But yeah, I mean, it's been a wild journey because I found flat Earth before I found anything else. That was like the first thing that popped onto my radar as a truther.
Right, is that before? So did you come into flat Earth like before you started like all the like conspiracy business of?
Yeah, I mean, I always question, 9/11, and I question a few events that I've seen over time. I was like, that just something in my spirit just seemed like this is really weird. This just doesn't seem right. But I was busy and running college track, and I don't know. I just didn't ever do any kind of deep dives. So the whole thing with flat Earth, a friend of mine, when I was 14, way back in high school, we used to ride bikes around with each other and just, BMX bikes, jumping dirt jumps and stuff like kids do. We
Yeah.
reconnected, and he actually lives in my hometown now. I'm in East Texas, so a lot of people run Boston Bear. They're like, "Oh, you're from Boston." They don't realize I run the Boston Marathon a bunch. So I've done 10 years straight there. In April, I'll run my 11th Boston Marathon in a row. It's just like the best race to me on the plane. But my buddy, I had sent a meme to him, and it was like one of those, shows the Earth like right here, and it shows the sun like next to it to show the comparison. And the next thing was like a black hole that was way bigger than the sun. And then, it was crazy. And I sent it out to like 10 people because I'm a Christian also. And I was like, look, the heavens declare the glory of God. Oh, how awesome. And everybody pretty much said, yeah, all right, go God, big universe. And one friend said, I don't think that's scientifically provable and actually think it's science fiction. It's just a very simple answer back to me. And I thought he was joking. I was like, what is this dude talking about? Because I had never heard of flat Earth in my life, not even heard of it. So he sent me an Eric DeBay video and a Matt Long. I know Matt Long's YouTube channel got like taken down, but there was one called Dear Pastor, and it just caught my attention because it was basically aiming at the Christian community. Like, your Bible says 200 verses describe a stationary, fixed, not movable earth, created earth. And it just got me on the path. And for a while, all I wanted to see was NASA, jokes and how they do a bunch of fakery. All I wanted to do is just find the fakery. And then I just started actually looking outside, and I bought a P1000. I had to get a P1000 to like zoom in on the moon and zoom in on some things. And over time, it's like, it's obvious the sun is local. It's right there. Look at what it does to the clouds. Look at the crepuscular rays, and things just really started to settle. As I got on the back porch, I thought, wait a minute. NASA tells us that when I have coffee on the back porch, the next day I'm moved 1.3 million miles. I was like, that's ridiculous. Anytime I've visited my hometown, anytime I've been to another, anytime I revisit a place that I haven't been to in like years, it's in the same spot. It's not. So anyway, Yeah, I'm new and fresh to a lot of it, but the dinosaurs fell away and the stuff with contagion, and I don't know what all we can talk about, but there's a lot of stuff that's not true. History is not true to a big degree. But anyway, I'll tell you more in a minute. I just don't want to filibuster on you.
No, that's brilliant.
Bobby, you're muted.
Sorry about that. Let's let Frank.
I'm not the baby.
Not anymore. Let's let Frank introduce himself here.
Hey guys, I've been listening. I love what you're talking about. Run Boston Bear. I'd love to sit down and talk to you for just a few days.
I'd love to.
Out of your time. But all this stuff is up until 2011. I was a good little trooper, super trooper, believing everything you were told. And Obama came out and said they had offed bin Laden. And I said, what? This guy's been, the last thing we heard from him, was December of 2001. And I started looking into that and found that the guy, there was no record of him living after December of 2001. And there was claims that he had died of natural causes in somewhere in the wilds of Afghanistan. And I looked at the only evidence was 2 videos that were obvious fakes. They were not bin Laden. And at that point I said, if they're lying about this, what else are they lying about? And that started in what you find out, like Bear just said, everything is questioned now. And just recently talking to Stuart, who's a good person despite everything you might think about him. He's a good guy, and Stuart introduced me more or less to Flat Earth because that was his stick. And and I introduced him to 9/11. I've been researching hard. I'm 72, so since in the last 12 years I've been doing 9/11. Then I did NASA, all of this stuff. The mass shootings, we live in a world that is completely misrepresented by almost everything. And the problem is somewhere around 90% of the people don't even know that they're being lied to. They have no clue. But anyway, so there is so much to learn. There's so much to share. And I just love to be a part of what you guys are doing, because it doesn't even matter if you're right at this point. If you're just looking and willing to listen to what other people have to say, that's the most important thing, to unfetter your mind, open it up. The answers are coming so fast and furious on this internet that this stuff could happen this year. This could be the last year that we see the misery that's being intentionally inflicted on the human race. The human race's destiny is paradise. It is a wonderful destiny. It's just over the horizon. You can feel it. You can see it. You can witness the vibrations all around you. You can see people waking up left and right. And we are blessed tremendously to live in a time when we can see this happening in our lifetimes. So I am a trooper. I've got many groups out there on Facebook. The latest one I call the Church of the Human Spirit. And that is where I said, well, at this point, I'm tired of looking at the lies. I'm tired of looking at the lies that are based on the lies, the urban legends, that we're going to be depopulated, that we're going to be controlled, that our future is a dystopia. No, that's all bullshit. That's all, everything that puts fear in your heart is the devil does a little dance every time somebody's afraid of anything.
Good night.
Okay? Fear nothing. Stuart, even you should not be afraid.
Yes, well, I'm going to interject here. By the way, I will warn you, Bobby, that you're going to have to cut this guy off when he goes babbling on, because once he starts, you can't shut him up.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
All right. Well, listen. I will give people a chance to talk. Stuart, stop saying bad things about me. I mean, I've got.
Hey! Who said?
Already. I don't need you doing it too, okay? So anyway, but you guys are beautiful, and you're out there on the cutting edge. There are two kinds of people. I told Stuart and I just got off a 3-hour phone call this morning, by the way. This morning, I'm in Texas, Stuart's in England. So over where Stuart is, it's evening over there, but he's 6 hours ahead of me. But we had a 3-hour conversation this morning for me. And basically, there are two kinds of people in the world. There are leaders and followers. There are 8 billion people. And we don't need more than a few hundred people leading the 8 billion out of their misery, okay? We don't need half of them to lead the other half. That's not the way it works. So you get out there and lead, you go out there and learn, go out there and educate and elevate yourself and be in a position to lead others to the light. Because once somebody comes to the light, they lose all their appetite for darkness.
Absolutely.
Yep.
You know, I was gonna
Yep.
say there's something special about truthers that are not fearful and not afraid to say, I don't know about that. I have an idea about it. Bobby, that's one of the best things that you're doing on your channel, is saying, let's talk about it. I'll talk to Globers or people on the fence. I'll talk to flat earth deniers, and I'll talk to true earthers. And when you have a heart that's filled with curiosity of what is really going on, because we know it's a spiritual war, and a lot of people don't believe that it is. They don't believe that there is a war waging for our attention, for our minds, for our souls going on, and it's been going on. And what Willis just said about what's coming is the awakening is not, it's for everyone that will give it a chance, that will breathe life into searching and researching, and I say praying and being available. Like, take everything that you think you know about everything and be okay to set it aside just for a second on a shelf to say, okay, what is this? Let me look at this. You're not going to lose what you've always thought about your whole life. It's not like it's going to slip away and you're going to be like brain dead or something. If you think it's a globe, that's fine. Just set it right there to see what this is all about. And spinning off of that, funny terminology, there is life and vitality, and there's a resonance and a frequency between people who are not afraid of being awake or waking up out of this matrix. And like Bobby and I were fast friends right away. I just called him to talk about technical stuff with his podcast. It's like, hey, and we talked for an hour and a half. Anybody that I talk to that's a truther that is doing it to understand, not a truther that's doing it for ego. Because if you're a truther that's just trying to gain knowledge leads to the death of man. Wisdom leads to life, and wisdom will lead you to God. So I didn't really say it clear enough. On the side of waking up and on Discord and in Telegram and in this chat now and in this truther world, there's so much friendship and love and fruits of the Spirit. It's everywhere. I see it every time I talk to people. Even if I haven't had a conversation like Willis, I could call you when this is done and we could talk for 2 hours, and it would be love and joy and truth. On the anti-flat earth side, and the folks that are spitting and spewing that we're on a spinning globe and they can't let go of that idea, there's animosity, there's tension, there's backbiting, there's ego, they're bullying. They're evil, and I'm not saying the people are evil, but the system that they're stuck in is evil. And we're trying to, I hear all these debates with Austin Whitsitt doing awesome debates, but he's getting fatigued because he's going up against people that just want to belittle him as a person or say he's dumb or ignorant when he really knows more than anybody. But people can't see that. So I don't know. I think we're going to win it. I think we're going to win this war with love as we stop being triggered by the triggered folks and just say, look, man, you can think what you want. I think it's stationary. You can say whatever math you want. You can quote the whole Bible of, astronomy or the complex math that makes it work in your world, but I'm not interested. I'm interested in relationships with people. I want to get to know people and wake up from this crazy nightmare. But anyway, it's awesome. It's awesome being on here with y'all.
Yeah. Last night I watched Austin and Nathan debate live against Snake and I can't remember the other girl's name, CP, Snake and CP, but yeah, I watched that whole debate. It was on Evolution, and they crushed it. But man, the ad homs, right? Man, the ad homs just you watch all the ones on, Austin's and Nathan's sides, and there's no ad homs, but you just watch the comments and just the insults flowing in from the other side. It's like you can see the difference between the two sides, right? Science is the antichrist. I mean, I hate to say it, but it's true. It's the if you just watch them and their mannerisms and what they say and how they present themselves. And then you have, Nathan and Austin smiling, and after everyone insulted him, Austin said, "I love you. The creator loves you." There's two very different, classes going on here.
I spend way too much time fighting the evolutionists and get out there they have a lot of groups, creation versus evolution, right? Evolution, they are so misnamed because evolution is anti-science. It is evolution versus science to me. Leave creation out of it because we know that the world was created by God. People who look around and see and open their eyes and stop just looking down at their feet through their life. We know that this creation is not the result of cosmic dice being tossed and just physical laws creating life out of nothing and all that stuff. But you go out there and it's like you're trying to nail Jello to the wall. You point out the impossibilities, the anti-science of evolution. You say leave religion out of it, leave creation, and then they realize they have nothing because that's all they want to do is bash people who are faithful. Okay. So, and you see that in the hostility. I mean, they will call you stupid. How ignorant are you? You just don't understand how evolution works. I says, of course I don't understand how it works because it doesn't work. So anyway, but it is like this. I believe that at some point there will be no soul left behind. That we will rescue every damn one of them, no matter how bad they don't want to be rescued.
That's awesome. And, I had a thought just yesterday because I'm always pondering this world and what it's all about. So we're told that we're spinning and wobbling, but we just skirt right past that spinning and wobbling fact. And they say that every 7 to 14 years, the Earth wobbles about 60 inches. And if gravity is holding everything down, straight down, it's all it can do if it was real. Think about the metric tons of water that's not being held, in a left and right direction. And if there's a 60-inch wobble every, 7 to 14 years, there'd be cataclysmic damage. I mean, it would shift, and somebody would go, "Oh, there's that wobble again. It really got us." They wouldn't live right up against the ocean. If you go to the ocean, it laps up on the sand very beautifully, and it drains back. It's just beautiful. And if we're moving at the speeds they say we are, that we can't feel for whatever reason, in an elliptical orbit that has speeding up and slowing down, it's not just a gradual speeding up and slowing down. We're talking about millions of miles an hour that drastically speed up and slow down to make the circuit. That would kill us. And if you can come at this with the mentality of a child and a child's understanding, you take a earth and you fill it with water 70%, and you have magic gravity holding it all down steady down, but not side to side, and then you spin it and sling it. But then when you throw in the wobble, why is the water not destroying massive amounts of cities every 7 to 14 years? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense anymore once you get it.
And it's like the fact that we've got to believe that as opposed to the sun just going and go away and setting due to perspection, that we're falling backwards 1,000 miles an hour. And but anyway, while I've got the microphone, I'm just going to quickly, Bobby, you were on about. Am I all right to share screen?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll see if I'm capable. I'll share it with the audio. We're on about that. We're on about that shit before. I've said about David Wise. He talks about it. And I don't know if anybody.
Someone else has joined here. Let's see who else we got. Okay, that's that. All right.
That's me, isn't it? That's my screen sharing, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So can you see the screen sharing?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Right, one sec. Let's see. You can hear the audio.
Okay, can't miss it.
Can you hear the
Here in the
audio?
north. And if it
Can we hear that audio, guys?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Yeah.
was a
Yeah, we
light
can hear it.
week away,
I'll just play this.
you couldn't see it, and we can prove that. But nobody wants to look at that. They're like, "Well, these numbers are too big, and I can't deal. You know, I can't think about big numbers." What did you think about my thought about this map? Did you watch it when I talked about it and the shift to the
I think so. Yeah.
So let's pretend it gets pretty frozen out here past this outer line, and let's say half of this island is we can get to the shoreline in the summer. So we go here, and they take you here, and they say, "Oh, you're at Antarctica." How would you know this isn't Antarctica? Maybe it is. Maybe that's what we call Antarctica. How would you know? How would you know that the island ends right? Because it's not an island. Look at the United States, Canada, and Mexico. This is bigger, okay, than all three of them combined. Okay, so we pull up here. You're on Antarctica, right? And let's say you can't sail around it because it's backside's frozen. Well, how would you know? How would you know where you are? So we and for those of you who haven't seen this, this is a shipping world shipping cargo, and you click on any one of these ships, find out where they're going, what they're doing, where it's registered, size of the ship, cargo, everything. We noticed some ships that were hundreds of miles inside of the shoreline of Antarctica. This is supposed to be either frozen or land, with, frozen, ice, with tons of ice. There's ships in here, right? So we
Our
clicked on the
maps must be wrong of Antarctica. The maps of Antarctica must be wrong.
maybe it's something like this. Okay, so you got we look up the ship, and there's no information other than it's 560 meters long. Do you know how big that is? That is the biggest MFR ship I've ever seen. It's 1,800 feet. That's a giant ship, 80 meters wide. Okay, and we find out that it's registered in a little island called Kiribati. Okay, right? Kiribati's out here in the South Pacific, right? Let's look at what Kiribati is. Here's Kiribati, South Pacific. We zoom in, and it's a little sand atoll, okay? This is a sandbar, right? So, and then the Chinese government, American government, we're all involved with this little island. Why do we care about this little island? What, are they growing pineapples? Okay. And this is a very important trade route, everything. Like why? Why is this an important trade route? This little friggin' island, this sandbar. And China gave them $10 billion recently. Okay. What if they're doing, shipping routes outside our world? If there was trafficking of technology, of goods and services, of children, whatever you want to think of, how would you ever know? Because guess what? When did you hear about Kiribati?
Never. And I understand how the Suez Canal is
saying 1
important.
minute ago. A minute ago is what I'm talking about.
The Suez Canal obviously is an important trade route. There's all those humans congregated in that area.
So that was basically, he does, he talks a little bit on more about. That's what I was discussing with you there, Bobby, about Kiribati. That's what it's called. Yeah, I don't even want to address as well the conversation here. What's I was just seeing. Who's this? David Villar. Have you seen the comments of David Villar? This is dumb.
He debated him and Planar Walk debated Jaron and Austin, and man, he melted down. And I did it. That's why he's here, because I did it. I'm sure. But he had an absolute meltdown. Like, man, he was just pacing around and was angry, and he was like, man, it's like I don't know who you're aspiring to be, but you're no Jordan Peterson, man. You're nowhere near. If that's I don't know what your goal is. Like, I don't know who you're trying to model yourself after, but that maybe that's something you should look into, because no one wants to see that. No one wants to see not even Globirth. Not even globe earthers. They don't want that. They don't want that for representation. If you can't intelligently and calmly defend your arguments, because you don't know it, you just don't know it. And what was going on is you didn't want to change arguments because you brought one bullet to the table, and that's why you were so adamant and angry not to leave that, because we could argue all points. The thing about it is you can argue all points indefinitely, because all you have to do is not give on a point, right? So I don't believe anyone ever wins debates, but the David guy, he brought one bullet and that was it, and he just did not want to. They're like, we got to change. He wouldn't change. He wouldn't get off that point. He just wouldn't, because they wanted to progress the conversation and prove. Let's look at 20 proofs, 30 proofs, 40 proofs. He didn't have 20 proofs. He didn't have 2 proofs. He had one, and it was a weak one.
Bang on to They Live sunglasses there, sort of like David, signifying David Villar. Stick around, you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Well, Willie though, is he?
I've got a flat Earth question. I went on a cruise with my wife in November 2021, and you're on the balcony and the sun's setting off to the west. And I looked out there and it was low on the horizon. And I looked out there a half hour later, it's still in the same place. And an hour after I started looking at it, it still looked like it's in the same place. I says, what the hell is going on? Why isn't it going down? And I swear it took it 2 or 3 hours to go down. And I said, is this normal? Is this what happens every time somebody's out there on the ocean watching the sun go down? Do you guys have any explanation or any research into that? What does the sun really do when it goes down? Because when you're on the ocean, you don't have dust. You don't have obscurity on the sun.
Well,
it's not a flare. It's a ball in the sky. It's a circle, whatever it is. But it was just there forever. And it slowly went down. And I'm used to it just disappearing almost within 30 minutes. It'll go from on the, above the horizon, and it's gone around the city. But out in the ocean, you don't have the obscurity of the atmosphere.
What did it get any smaller, Willis?
Yeah, I can't. I wish to hell I had taken my cell phone and just documented the whole thing.
The likelihood is, if you're out there in the oceans and you've got a beautiful clear day, the likelihood is, because obviously the sun is only moving away and getting smaller or getting further away due to perspective, that it's going to stay there, especially if you haven't got the atmosphere that you would normally have in a heavy sort of like city.
No dust. No.
Yeah, you haven't got that atmospheric sort of like opacity that the sun will eventually disappear beyond, that you can no longer see the sun. Then if you're out in clear oceans and you can see for miles and miles and miles, the likelihood is, you will see the sun just sitting there until it just fades out.
Basically, I've done a lot of research. The southern hemisphere is the big sticking point. I did a lot of research recently, and Stuart, you were talking about airplane flights, right? And you cannot find shipping data, because there's no while an airplane can argue that it can go somewhere because of airports, there's no reason for a ship to go from point A to point B and go anywhere other than straight to where it's going. So if you're shipping from South America to Africa, but you can't get shipping information on the internet without being in the business, because they want you to say, okay, what cargo you're carrying, how big are your containers. They won't tell you how long it takes to go from Buenos Aires to Cape Town, Africa. But if you fly from Cape Town you have to go to either Houston, Dubai, London, Paris, or somewhere, and then go to Cape Town, which is only about 10 hours away on the globe. But you got to go at least 12 hours north to Madrid or someplace like that, flying 12 hours across the ocean just to get to the stop. There's no way to get to Cape Town without 2 stops. At least you can't buy a ticket. But then you go over to Australia, flying to Santiago. They've got airlines over there that say that they can fly directly from Australia to South America, which is even farther than crossing the Atlantic on the Southern Ocean. So, so what have you guys done about that? Are they just making up these routes, or are they real routes? Can you really fly from Australia to South America?
No, I think like you say though, I mean a lot of this stuff as just the Joe blogs on the street we can never find out these things to be true. But anyway, regardless of that, like I say, I'm just being amused here by the chat and whatever. But yeah, I mean you make a good point, Willis, but like I say, without that information, without the sort of like to divulge that, we can't. What was
I'm not, in regards to the plane routes, there's a lot of things. First off, some of these, I watched Jaron go over some of these the other day, and maybe a month ago now, but you have jet streams, right? And they can jump in these jet streams. And we have, even though where they have like they say the top speeds of these planes is 500 miles an hour, 550, we've recorded flights where they're doing 700 and 750. Like we've timed them from start to finish. So basically they can go faster than what they're claiming they can. And plane routes can't prove it's just too easy to hide stuff from you. Like, right. If you're going to entertain the thought of true Earth, you have to think of what lengths they would go through. Right. And if you're looking at plane routes, it's just very simple. There's no north-south circumnavigation. It's just that simple. Go to Flight Radar and look at the traffic. There's the answer for you right there. If you want to see the truth, just watch how we navigate the quote unquote globe, east and west. If it were really a ball, we would navigate it in every direction because so many flights would be so much cheaper. And everyone that tried to get on every true earther that tried to get on these fast, short flights, they weren't able to, right? Like they can't, they always get canceled and they get pushed off to another flight that has 3 legs or something like that. So that's my answer to it.
I mean, the fact that it's proven through what you can go on to booking a flight or whatever, that the routes, I mean, you'd have thought that northern flights, southern flights should be pretty identical in the circumnavigation around, but you notice that if you ever book a north hemisphere flight to another northern hemisphere, not once does it cross the equator. It doesn't have to. It doesn't have to cross the equator. It just goes from a north destination to another north destination, and yet every single southern flight, like you say, maybe from Argentina to South Africa to Cape Town or whatever, which are probably at the most southern parts of. You can go south. Each one of those flights from a southern location to a southern location every time crosses the equator into the north and then back out again. Yeah. And that to me just proves that the AE map, which every airline pilot navigates by, the fact that you're simply going from on a straight line on an AE sort of like you could think about maps. And
Dave Weiss has a good video on emergency stops. The pregnant woman.
Oh yeah, the emergency landings. Yeah,
flying from Tokyo to Los Angeles. Yeah. So why did they have an emergency stop in Alaska? What the hell are they doing? And how did this Chinese balloon come from Alaska down through Montana and off to South Carolina? How do they launch? And then you look on the mass media tells it floated halfway across the Pacific, then did a left turn, went all the way up to Alaska, and then came back down south. And this is a guided spy balloon, right? How do you guide a balloon in air that's moving 50 to 100 miles an hour?
All this balloon stuff and UFO stuff that's going on, I don't even give it the time of day. At the end of the day, I don't even give it a moment's thought, because we all know it's just a deception, and that it's look what's going on while we're doing this over there type of thing. It just so happens that all that came out, all that started happening the moment that who is he, the reporter that came out confirming that the Nord Stream 2 pipeline was blown up by the US and with the assistance of Norway. And then that story came out, and then all of a sudden we've got these distractions elsewhere. Oh no, you can't think about that. These distractions. So I don't even give all that crap about the balloon and the UFOs. I don't even give it the time of day.
Hey, Stuart, tell them your theory about the Hindenburg.
Oh, I've spoken about that loads of times. I mean, we all know, don't we, about the demonization of airships through the Hindenburg. Since the Hindenburg disaster, that's it. Airships, we can't have airships because they're too dangerous and all this lot. So, I mean, the time we ever got airships back will probably be the time that we could go and explore beyond Antarctica and just go further. But
an airship with plenty of power could go anywhere without having to have an airport, so it can go outside the ice wall.
Yep.
So think about it. They demonized airships and they disappeared. But think, you don't need an airport with an airship.
JT, what were you saying? Sorry about that.
So I had another thought. I'm always contemplating what with the shape of the earth, but I think we need to start outing deniers by there's a common theme. It's not just Earth is flat versus the Earth is round. Well, have you looked into this or that or proved?
You're cutting in and out.
Declassify.
You're cutting in and out. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on, but you're cutting in and out pretty good.
That's a shame. Let me try to reconnect.
All right.
Oh, he was in sync then. Yeah, you just slightly went out of sync, JT, and right, he's gone again.
David was absolutely steamed in here. I found that. That's sorry, man. I'm sorry, brother. If you knew how to conduct yourself, I would entertain you, but you don't, right? I've seen you, and you yell and you talk over people, and that's not what I'm about. It's just that simple. It's just not what I'm about.
How's the audio?
Good.
Okay. Basically what I was trying to cover and say is when you're going head to head, like even this David guy or any of these people that are flat earth deniers, they generally don't have any kind of analytical mind towards deception or corruption. Like they trust everything they see on the news. They believe it's all factual and believable. I mean, like, so the New York Times just came out with an article saying that the masks weren't effective and they weren't needed. They didn't do any good. They actually made things worse. But I still see people wearing masks. It's like I don't want to say to them, like, hey, you don't have to have that on anymore. Didn't you see the New York Times article? Like, I'm not even going to say anything to them because that's drama. And I'm not about drama. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I don't want to win some kind of like debate or battle with people. I want people free. I want people to be able to breathe. I want them to be joyful, full of joy and life and love. And in these debates where they're going back and forth on the stats and the numbers, but it's like, I want them to say, and they won't do it, but maybe on Discord, maybe in you guys' private time, if you're battling flat earth versus globe earth and it's not really going anywhere, try to get to know them as a person and say, have you looked into anything else? And just start with baby stuff. And if they haven't looked into anything, then you're literally wasting your breath and your energy to wake them up to true earth if they haven't looked at anything else yet. Because just like the staircase of disbelief, that video shows you do have to start at the first step and understand and go to the next step. You know, I sent you the YouTube link too in your Telegram if you wanted to play it.
How long is it?
How long?
I think
how long is that?
I think it's like 12 minutes.
Oh, let's play it. Yeah, absolutely, man.
The guy's got a good accent. And very relevant.
Well, I certainly haven't seen it. I can't even. Yeah, I've been trying to look it up as well, and I can't find it.
Yeah, we're gonna play right now.
Yeah, Mr. Nick said 14 minutes, but it's worth it. It's not going to be boring.
Yeah, let's watch it, man. Hold on one second. Let me. I'm gonna kick this off. Right. I'm sharing the screen. Let me know if we get any feedback or any type. I shared the audio, so you all will have to have your mics off, or make sure it doesn't reverberate back through. Here we go.
Okay, I'm gonna mute. Okay, I'm gonna mute.
Stacks of this. If you consider the ability, is what you're saying, the ability of people, very natural political idea.
It's not coming through very well, Bobby. We're not getting. Can you hear me, Bobby? Bobby, can you hear, Bobby?
Yeah, that's.
Is it not
that's
coming through
working.
good? If it's not,
working.
Can you,
Not working.
Bobby? No.
I hear
Yeah,
you.
that's not working. Not working.
No, I thought it's. No, I thought it's. Very choppy that one. That very choppy. That very Bobby. Choppy that one. That very choppy. That Bobby. It's not coming through.
Yeah, I get it. I have a 1 gig fiber connection. I have the fiber connection that you can have here, and I don't know why it would be choppy. Sorry. So maybe
getting
next
an
time.
audio repeat again. I think it's because you're sharing your screen again, Bobby. We're getting an
Yeah,
audio.
it is.
All right.
There you go.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry about
Yeah.
that.
Well, how did you play that last video so well for us? The one with Dave Weiss in it, because maybe you can play the link. It's just a YouTube link. Is the one I found.
Can you? Well, if you send me the YouTube link, I'll have a go at it. If you send me the YouTube.
Yeah, I'll throw it in the private chat.
If you can send me the YouTube link, because I couldn't find it anywhere on YouTube for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see if it works. Like you say, yeah. I mean,
while I'm looking for the link, what are your thoughts on the anti-flat earthers being also closed-minded to any of the other things that are obvious? You know what I mean? Or have you found a lot of people that are like super awake to everything, but they just won't?
In what respect? In what respect are you saying they're not awake to?
Well, when I'm on a Discord server and I'm talking, just honestly, I usually start by saying I'm not a debater and I'm not a theologian, even though I believe in the God of the Bible. Like, I'm not trained theologian, and I'm not. I say one more thing, just to like let them know I'm just a normal person, and I just want to talk to you about what I'm looking at and what I'm believing and what I'm seeing in the real world. And I start talking about like the history of the dinosaurs and evolution not being real. Like, as soon as you say dinosaurs were never here in the official story, they lose their mind and they laugh.
Yeah.
Try saying that nuclear warheads don't exist.
How about nuclear weapons? Yeah. How about
I've gone down.
Ramifications if nukes are not real, and all this shit with North Korea, Iran, and building a weapon, and
Right.
if nukes aren't real, what does that mean?
Yeah, but they're not going to allow you to even talk to them about these things, and they're just going to think that it adds to how stupid we are, when the fact of the matter is Hiroshima, and I can't even pronounce the other one.
Nagasaki.
Owen Benjamin covered it really well, and so did Crow 777 on the fact that after those carpet bombings, people moved, plant life grew, the animals came back, and the people came right back, and you can't refute that there wasn't a nuclear fallout. Like, people are living there today, and they never had a problem. So I don't know. It's just
months they were rebuilding those cities.
Yeah. Anyway, let me go get that link.
Yeah. Yeah. Most vehement, globe earthers are just not open to any ideas, right? Like, they'll stand behind gravity wholeheartedly when it fails at the level where it's supposed to shine, right? Like, that's the only argument I need for gravity is if you have an MIT professor saying, electrical forces hold us together at the atomic scale, but at the cosmological scale, it's gravity. And then the only place of our solar system right off the bat, the first cosmological step up we take, it fails miserably, right? You have the 3-body problem. We can't make gravity doesn't work at all. And then we have dark matter and dark energy because it doesn't work throughout the whole universe, right? So the whole supposed universe. So gravity is a joke, but will they admit that? No, they'll say, you can, gravity's proven. Well, how? Well, things fall down. Don't you understand? Things fall down. Yeah, we do understand that, but that doesn't mean that mass attracts mass, which you've abandoned because that was Newtonian gravity. Right now, you've gone to the bending and warping of space-time, which doesn't even make sense because they show it as a blanket, but how, that doesn't make any sense. You'd have blankets in every direction, and it's just hilarious.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. But definitely, I think personally. I mean, I was talking again with Willis this afternoon regarding this particular topic. That the amount of people that are they're out there just willfully ignorant. They don't want to. They just don't want to. Sort of like. I mean, it's like. I mean, not just on the flat Earth side. The moment that you sort of like bring it to any sort of like attention that they're being deceived by their government, by whoever, then possibly they think, well, if I can't trust the government and I can't trust authority, then that just sends my whole belief system into chaos mode, and they can't handle that. So I think that's the way it is, and a lot of them are just plainly sort of like ignorant.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I'm getting a warning on that video. I'm getting a warning. You have to accept.
It's a. It looks like it's a condensed version, like 6 minutes. So hopefully
it's only 6 minutes. Yeah,
it'll give you the meat of it, maybe.
Right. Do we all want to watch? It's only 6 minutes. This one. Do we want to watch it?
Yeah, give it a shot.
Yeah. You muted Bobby again. You muted.
Yeah.
I can't hear a
Yeah.
word
Go ahead. Yeah, I was saying yeah. Thumbs up.
All right. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I mute when I'm replying to these comments. I'm reading the comments reply. Sorry, guys.
Right. So let's just see if I can share this. 1 sec. Should be coming up. Have we got? It's not coming up as Why is it? Have you got? Oh, that's it. Have you disabled share screen? Hold on. Have you disabled it?
No, I clicked the button, then it went away. I don't know if you. Here we go. I clicked it. It just takes a second. It's got like a little delay, but you should be good now.
Right. So we can all see that now.
Yep.
Audio.
I'm offering. The staircase of disbelief. If you consider the ability for people, this is what you're talking about, the ability for people to grapple with very controversial parapolitical ideas or with hugely alternative perspectives on, let's say, historical events, globalist politics, metaphysical ideas, just this sense that the great holographic illusions of reality must be encountered if you want to know what's going on. And there's different levels of that. Imagine a staircase that stretches up into the sky, into the clouds, right? And low down on that staircase are certain subject matters where you can take a step on it, a little step. Let's take an easy one. JFK was not assassinated by Lee Harvey Oswald, right? So let's say that's step one. So that's a conspiracy that is kind of obvious. And anyone who's just looked at that for 2 seconds thinks, well, he can't have done. It didn't happen like that. There's something else that went on, right? Okay, well done. You've just taken your first step on the staircase. Low down on the staircase, there's some slightly unbelievable ideas, but nevertheless, they are true. And once you've taken a few steps up there, you then start to get the idea that the world is not the way you thought it was. And then you get, let's say, midway on the staircase, 9/11. There's a serious problem on that day. That's a big one. That's kind of midway up the staircase, that 9/11, and it's, as you know, Mel, it's a big one. That it's a world changer for people. So that's a classic, what I would call in the old days, Stargate event. Once you've moved through that Stargate of that, 1 or 2 years personal study, and it really isn't very difficult to be a quality researcher. It's really not. You need to train yourself. You need to develop discernment. It takes a while, but it's not hard. It really isn't that hard. And when you look at it, you see the staggering problems, particularly all the doctored photographs in Sandy Hook. Big giveaway, big giveaway. another one on the midway point. The media is not fair and never has been. Never has been. Once you start to grasp the magnitude of empire, that's not too difficult to get to that, right? And then you get to another one. This is a tough one for some people because we're midway. We're getting higher on the staircase now. Is it possible that we conceive of a situation where all kinds of organizations, is it possible that those groups are actually bad? That they appear to be grassroots uprisings of people wanting equity and justice? Of course. No, wrong. That's not what they are. They've not arisen organically, and they do not represent reality. They are conditioning beacons, and they suck in the unwary and empty them out. They sort of amplify unreality only to create extended this long on fake polarization, always fermenting division, always exploiting the weakest members of society, people with nothing, who don't have a chance to sit back and educate themselves, who don't have a chance in hell of that. They have no idea. They are the foot soldiers of groups. Oh wow, really? So anti-fascism stuff and all those good people who think that it's garbage. Right, that's garbage, all of it, all garbage. That's a tough place to be. If you can stomach that, then you get further up, let's say the top part of the staircase. We know that no one's gone up that staircase, nobody's done it. You go up further. The Earth is not a sphere. The sun and the moon are not what you think they are. Size not far away. There is gravity. Humans are ensouled children of divine source. And right at the top of the staircase, God is real and loves you. That staircase of disbelief is what allows one person to examine a thing and another person not to examine a thing. You forget now, and I say this tongue-in-cheek, you forget how far you've already come up that staircase over the last 15 years. You forget how many steps you've taken, and you forget what giant cataclysmic paradigm shifts you had in your own private mind, in your own heart, in your own thoughts, personally in your life, with yourself, with your family, with your friends, with your business, with the audience, with this, with everything. Yeah, we've come. And just for a second, you stop and you look down and you realise you're at the top of the stair, right there thinking, anything's possible, 100, anything is possible. And there's a lot of people walking around who don't even want to take the first step, they don't want to know. And if you take step number 1, Lee Harvey Oswald did not kill JFK, you have to go to step 100. You have to go to step 100 in due course. And deep inside, everyone knows that, and they don't want to take that journey because it's hard. It's hard, it's ugly, blood will be spilled, people will be lost, people will laugh at you, people will take business away from you, people will mock you, people may even lock you up. So most people, they hover the foot over that first step, when they stand on the step, and they think, what, if I take this first step in due course, in the fullness of time, I might have to go all the way to the top. Flat Earth. To emphasize this point, every single stair is a question mark. It's not this is the case or not, that's a personal decision. We don't need to objectively agree on anything here. It's a personal journey, personal staircase. All are question marks. Flat Earth, there's a lot of big important questions there. Really, really important questions. Anyone who writes that off needs the brain examining. They need to go back and get the crayons out again.
All right.
We got joined by Joe Hill of Effed Up World. Has a phenomenal channel. I love watching all the time, but he says he's got a little exercise for us. So Joe, go right ahead.
I'm muted.
Got it.
You're good. I don't have you muted. You should be good.
Oh, okay. I saw it on my phone. I thought I muted and make noise. So here, that's a car right there, and it's sitting under. We got I did something. Yeah, I'd call it a mind exercise. There we go. Okay, a mind exercise. Questions. I love all you guys. In here and so
You're pretty choppy, Joe. Is anyone else hearing him come across choppy?
Yeah,
Is it just
it's chopping up a little bit. We got that you love us and we appreciate that, but we want to do the mind exercise, but we haven't heard it yet.
Yeah, you're coming in pretty choppy for me.
I'm not. If I'm not in my truck. No.
I don't think it's better right now.
You know what I'll call come back in.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'd love to have, come back in. Just try it. All right.
It looks like Will's left his microphone on as well. And
Oh yeah, let me mute him. Sorry. I can mute him. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
it's all good.
Yeah, we're listening to his conversation with your missus, I think.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm gonna have to dip out in a minute and head to a kid's birthday party, but I like that staircase of disbelief video, and I just commend you guys for digging into the truth, and it's an awesome journey, and we're not done yet. Lots of stuff is going to go on this year.
Oh yeah. No, we've got a long way to go.
Joe, let's hear you now. Let's see if you sound any better.
Otherwise, I can go home from my computer.
You're choppy. I wish you weren't, but you are. You're more out than in, honestly.
Well, I will try to call back.
All right, good seeing you, man.
Yeah.
Yep, Joe. Yep, catch you.
Yeah, before you go, JT, let me just say, man, I'm glad I got you on the show. I'm glad a lot of people jumped in, honestly. And I know I'm pretty quiet, right? Like I'll be the first to admit I'm pretty quiet unless someone asks me a direct question. Because
I think you're whacked tonight, aren't you, Bobby? You don't seem your active self. You seem a bit whacked tonight.
No, I'm just reading the comments, man.
Right.
I really want to make this clear that this podcast isn't about me. Like I want to make that clear. I don't want any glory. I don't want to, and I just love it when you all come on and talk about it. And I'm just listening and I'm reading the links and I love it. And I'm not trying to make this about me, right? I want JT's
I don't think anyone's coming to that conclusion, Bobby, at all, that you're making it about you, because you've proved that this particular, I mean, I love this particular Saturday night that we're doing now. We get the more people that come in, the better we can converse. But I don't think nobody thinks that it's about you at all, Bobby.
Well, and I just want it to be clear that it's about people giving their testimonies, and it's about people. It's about having a round table where we can all comfortably talk about it. And I want people outside to see how easy this is to talk about and how uncrazy it is, right? It's normal. Let's normalize this. This is, we can talk about it. I'm here. I don't really, I'm not a fan of debates. I don't think you ever win one, right? It's not about intelligence. It's just about, do I want to argue with some guy that don't get me wrong. If Jordan Peterson came on and said, "Hey, Bobby, I want to argue with you about, I'll represent the globe," I actually would, even though, am I as intelligent as him? I don't think so. But I know it'd be a respectful conversation, right? Like it'd be respectful. That'd be cool. Do I want to debate with people that yell at me and insult me? No. And I don't think I'm going to change their mind anyway. Why would I entertain that? Why would I take on that negativity? I get enough negativity on my channel already. This is my belief. Why it bothers people, is dumbfounding to me. Why does it even, if flat earth isn't for you, move on. The irony is these people are like, "Oh, you grifter, you grifter, you grifter." This is my belief. Let's just look at David Villar real quick before we leave. He called me a grifter, but he's going out to flat earth channels trying to make a living off flat earth, right? Like this, who's the grifter, right? He's trying to make an audience on this, right? I'm not. I just want to talk about it. That's it. I want to talk about it. That's hilarious to me that I'd be called the grifter.
Yeah. I mean, it really does come down to this question. Are we or are we not allowed to believe what we want to believe about anything? They want to slam us so bad for transitioning from globe Earth to flat Earth. I mean, that's like the big no-no in their world because they're clinging to the ball so tightly. But that's not really that weird, especially because all of human civilization for all of time believed it to be stationary and fixed with a firmament over it, like the word says. And, you know, they say, yeah, well, science has come along and advancements in technology has shown us that not to be true. But I beg to differ. We have been programmed from, since 5 years old to believe in the spinning ball Earth. And even when Paramount Pictures was showing the spinning globe Earth in like early 1900s, 1912, I think, or something, like that's ridiculous. We hadn't even been to space. And like the mixture of the Nazis, Werner von Braun, Disney, and NASA, the way that NASA, Disney have danced together and made cinematography and made hit pieces, and a lot of it comes from older books, and it's all fairy tale. It's basically Star Wars in real life. Like we have Star Wars on TV to enjoy, and I'm sure when someone's sitting there, they know it's a produced movie and they think it's cool and it's great. Any laser shooting, any weightlessness you see in any movie like Gravity, I mean, they know that was shot on a set, but it looks better than anything NASA's putting out. But when you say, hold on, the truth is we've been tricked, all of mankind, for the last 472 years. Because, I mean, it hasn't even been 500 years since Copernicus released his ideas of the heliocentric model that he was pulling out of the air from, who was it before? Not Galileo, but there was one before that kind of started talking about it. Who was that?
I don't remember the name. Not
well,
right now, no.
So when he produced his idea of the heliocentric model, it was the Catholic Church that pushed him to go ahead and release it because Copernicus didn't want the model, his ideas of the model, to come out until after he was dead. And my opinion is you had the Reformation going on with Martin Luther, where he did the 99 Thesis on the door, like stamped we have the right to read the Bible for ourselves. We have the ability, the intellect, the translation into English. We can now read this ourselves. We don't have to go to the priest. We don't have to follow your way of talking to God. We can talk to God. And so he put that, in the 99 Thesis. And I honestly believe that the Copernican revolution and the Copernican theory was a counter move to the Reformation. It's like a way for them to kind of gain back the control that was lost with Catholicism. It's wild. I mean, if anybody hasn't watched Heliosorcery, you got to watch Heliosorcery. That one really defines like the occult nature in where the heliocentric model came from. But when we catch up to right here, right now in 2023, you got people that are wanting to identify as the opposite of their biology, which, I'm not going to say that I'm mad at you for that. I'm going to say you have the right to decide for yourself if you think that's appropriate, if you think that's okay to do. That's you, man. I'm not going to say you're an idiot or you're mentally disabled because you have a boy part and you want to go around and say that you're a girl or you want to surgically make yourself a girl. That's your deal, man. You got the freedom to do that. But if I say, I don't actually think we're on a spinning water ball, I think it's flat like the Bible says, you should not attack me personally. You should not say, you're a stupid idiot. How could you deny the science? Well, I wouldn't deny science, but I'm going to deny scientism all day long, and a philosophy and a religion that's built with what I think is just fakery, but they get so mad at us like we're idiots when actually we're being smart, we're being wise, we're being awake. Anyway, that's what I got as I'm heading out.
Yeah, JT, real quickly, that Heliosorcery documentary, the guy who made that came from a channel called Earthen Vessels, and I got
Yeah.
turned on to them.
I
I
watched.
got turned.
Sorry, I did. I watched
Heliocentrism versus
I haven't seen that one.
geocentrism.
You
Okay,
mentioned
well,
that one. I saved it.
so I got turned on to that channel like years ago, and it had like 500 followers, right, or less.
Yeah.
It was, and you can look. I've left comments again and again. I'm like, God, man. So the guy, there was this church in Australia, and the preacher come to the realization, true Earth, as in the Bible, and he came out about it, and the church fractured, and he went off and created his teaching the true Earth, flat Earth, in the Bible. And the guy that did heliosorcery was one of his parishioners and one of his helpers, right? But Tom Pinto did a video called Heliocentrism versus Geocentrism. And if you know someone that's, for me, to this day, it's still the best video for a Christian who debates, who thinks, we live in a heliocentric world. If you send him that video, it is by far the best. He crushes it. Like, I'd put that video up against any video, right? For someone to claim to be a Christian and then watch that. Yeah. It's indisputable to me, but
yeah, that same channel, Earthen Vessel, I watched the cosmology conflict. There's like a 3-part sermon series on that, but I want to watch the one. I found it and saved it. It's so crazy. I have all these folders like pending biblical cosmology, pending truther stuff. Because I mean, there's stuff with the law that's wild, medicine that's wild, and I'm not done searching. But really, we shouldn't be attacked. Like you were just saying, we can believe what we want. Like, don't attack me because I'm faithfully believing what I see outside to be true. I see one last thing. I see Sir of the Junior, and I mean he's talking a lot in the chat. I haven't seen a lot of what he's saying. He really wants us to know, like, what's the meaning or name of Yahweh? What does Yahweh mean? And I'll just kind of piggyback off his multiple posts. I've been a believer for 14 years, and I can give, I'll get on your show and I'll give my whole testimony later, but I've been walking with Jesus for 14 years, and I was a lost kid before, all the way till I was 27 years old. I'm 42 now. So I was lost, I was depressed, I was frustrated, I had a low self-esteem, everything that caused me to seek the pleasures of the world and drugs and partying and making people laugh and just trying to figure out my own identity, trying to fit into this world. A lot of what sent me down the dark roads was identity issues, not understanding who I was before the Creator, not understanding who I was before you. Like, I used to just be super self-conscious about what you thought about me. After, like, if we had a phone conversation, I would play it through my head multiple times, and I would beat myself up for what I did or didn't say. It was really a disability or some form of dysphoria. But 14 years ago, I surrendered to the Creator and also to Christ. I said I needed to go in a new direction. I did not have a pastor tell me anything. I didn't read the Bible. I didn't see anything on TV. Like, this was just literally out of the blue. It's like God came back to check in with how I was doing after I turned my back on God, and I walked my own way. As I went further and further into the direction of me being God in my life, the kind of like conviction for sin went away. The whispers of like, hey, that's not the right thing to do, or even the conviction it just went away to where I didn't feel bad about anything that I was doing. And I got that checkup later, and I got offered a new path to go on. And like, here's the thing, wherever any of you people are, anybody that's watching or that's watching this later, if you want to make a change in your life to be fit or healthy or happy or any of this stuff, or get closer to God or understand the true nature of this realm or any of this stuff, we only have today, right this second, right this moment. There's not yesterday and there's not tomorrow because it hadn't gotten here yet, and you can't do anything to change the past. But the world wants us to focus on what we messed up on yesterday. Look at all that stuff you didn't do. Look at the stumbling blocks of the mistakes you made in your past, and then make you worry about what you need to do tomorrow, make you kind of anxious about what may come. But really, all we have is right now in this moment to breathe, to think, to live, to eat, to sleep, to enjoy our friends and family. So if you can stay in this very moment and not worry about all that stuff on either side and make a difference right here, a change right here, it changes the angle, a small angle. And it will eventually get way away from the person you are today if you're not happy with who you are or if you don't know who you are. Because this was me way back in the day, jacked up, confused, sad, depressed, all kinds of weird. And I made a change, and by trusting the Creator, I just trusted the Creator, and it brought me all the way to this new person you see. I can be on a stream and not be nervous. I can talk to y'all and not second guess what I'm saying. I don't care what you think about me. If you're a glober and you think that I'm an idiot for thinking that it's stationary and flat, that doesn't bother me. My confidence doesn't come from your approval. My confidence comes from, am I bringing glory to the Creator? And my belief is that what God created is an extended plane, a dielectric plane with a firmament over it. I think that's what He made in His infinite power and in His infinite creativity. And so if Satan twisted what was actually made and has confused us all, and we're worshiping basically or honoring or being happy with the ball that we thought we lived on, that's doing a great disservice to what the Creator actually made. And what made it easiest for me to walk away from the lie is, if God made something different outside my door right now, I want to honor Him for what He made. It's not that I want to win every debate. It's not that I want to be as smart as Austin Whitsitt and be able to, he can slay anybody. It's that I just want to be true to myself and true to my Creator. And I believe He made something different than what science is trying to tell us. And that's where I'm at. And I encourage you all, if you think that you've got a change to make in your life, quit smoking, eat better, exercise, start small, don't do too much too fast. Because if you do too much too fast, you burn out or you get injured or you get kind of overwhelmed. If you're overweight and you want to lose 5 pounds, just start going on small walks, half a mile. Just go out your door, walk to the end of the street and back, even if it feels really weird because you haven't done it. And just breathe fresh air and come back, and you will never, ever be sad that you put your shoes on and went out the door and went to the end of the street and back. You'll never say that was dumb. You'll feel better. Anyway, I'm just preaching now.
No, I absolutely 100% agree with you. Very prophetic, that one, JT, and absolutely sort of amazing. I mean, I think that's how we all feel, really, that on this journey. And yeah, I think absolutely. With all that, you just hit it absolutely nail on the head.
Well, I tell you, man, it's not about me being smart or prophetic or getting any of the glory. It's about God just. He needs to get the glory because He's awesome and He's taking care of us. Okay.
Absolutely. No, that was very, like I say, very prophetic. That and very on the nail. So we appreciate that, JT.
All right, Joe. What do you got for us? Thank you for that, JT.
Okay. The only thing I'm confused about is this Sim guy. I think.
Joe, hold on. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Joe, I don't hear you. Just FYI.
No,
I don't have you muted.
Can't hear you, Joe.
He's going to come back. It'll probably work itself out. Well, anyway, I love y'all, and I'll come back on. We'll talk again. Thanks for everything you're doing. Keep pushing the darkness backward, and keep just stepping, walking in faith, walking in the light. And the main key is don't be scared. Don't let the fear, don't let anxiety mess with you. It can't touch you.
No, I think that's a good thing about.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go on. No, I was just gonna to JT. I think that's one good thing about ever since I came into this on this journey is that everything is just washed. You know, the fear's gone, the anxiety's gone. I got nothing. I fear nothing, and my soul is at ease all the time.
Yeah.
And
I guess I gotta say one more thing. I don't know what it's gonna be. I just see some people with faith questions and Yahweh questions and this and that. I mean, here's the thing. Ultimately, God, the creator of this place, knows your heart better than you know yourself. If you're not sure if the scriptures have been grabbled or, I used to think they were written by man to control man. And if you have a different, if you have a different faith, if you're Buddhist or Hindu or you're like believing other stuff, I'm not going to hate on you for where you're at on your spiritual journey. Like I said about even the transgender stuff, I am not here to judge another man. I'm not here to make you feel bad about where you currently are. I like what Bobby says a lot. They're just not done baking. Like they are a work in progress. I personally believe that the scriptures and the word of God, the Holy Bible, is it. It's the truth. Now, man has messed with it, and translating it from Hebrew and Greek to English has been a bit of a battle. And, they changed the word God like 5,000 times. They translated, I guess, Elohim to God. They just made it God. And then that makes it out of context when you start thinking the Trinity stuff, because I was a Trinitarian for 30 years. Now I'm believing it might be different, and I can't explain it fully. I think that Satan is real, and I think he has tried to invert any and all truths he can. And if you can understand that the world, if it's not that, and that's a lie from Satan, and it's actually flat, and that's what God made. I mean, people think the scriptures can't get messed with, but I feel like they have been messed with. But what I was trying to say is just trust and know that God is going to guide you, and don't let the world guide you. Don't let what's on the news guide you. Don't let your friends or your neighbors pressure you. Just pray. Just say simple stuff like, Father, I don't know what way to go. Can you help? And that's it. And then have a glass of water, eat good food, go about your day. And then when you get concerned or anxious, say, I'm anxious. Can you help me with this? I don't know what to do. Simple stuff like a kid would do. And if you don't have understanding, I don't understand this topic. Can you help me with that? And then as you go, the answers will come to you. You'll find the direct path to truth and wisdom and knowledge. You can't let the world tell you, because the world wants to have power over you and take your money. So don't listen to the world.
Can you guys hear me now?
Okay, I'm going to dip out.
Joe. Yep.
Okay, good.
I'll
Sorry
chat with you later. I love your work, and thanks for everything you're doing too, pushing back the darkness. I'm going to listen in, but I got to go to a birthday party.
Listen, because I'm going to mention something that you said.
Yeah.
Boston Bear. I think it was you. I was just listening with my headphones when I heard it.
Yeah. I'm gonna tune in, but I'll see y'all in a bit.
Okay.
Yep.
Great seeing you. Thanks.
See ya.
Catch you in a bit, Joe, mate.
Good seeing you guys. I hope you can hear me better now.
Yeah, you come in fine now. Yeah, you're all good.
When he was talking there, one thing I realized is, now I know, like people, if you say the word Jesus, they seem to get in a category where some people are like, they put up a block wall and they're like, I don't want to hear about it. But just pay attention, like, especially if you see truth right now, because Jesus was praying in John 17, and he said, sanctify them. He's talking about people that he was going to send out into the world. He said, sanctify them through thy truth. Thy word is truth. And he says, as thou hast sent me into the world, even so have I also sent them into the world. And for their sakes I sanctify myself, that they also might be sanctified through the truth. And I've heard Bobby's testimony, about the truth and how his life became better in every category because of the truth. And I think this is just an example of the words of the Son of God just being true again, just because I think that's truth comes from him, I think. But so how are you guys doing?
Good. How about you, brother?
I'm doing good. I just heard you talking. It made me think of, like, I know you guys are running long here. It's been 2 hours and 8 minutes, it looks like.
We got 85 people watching, so
Well, this is something that maybe we can all just at least gain a little something just by thinking of something in a certain way. So if I was to ask questions, I'm not asking you to answer them. I just think about the question, and you'll get what I'm saying. So this is probably for the people who are doubting the globe or believe it's flat, or these people. I'm one of them. But did you live a good portion of your life, or half your life, or however long, under like a certain type of belief system that you weren't even aware of. And then you couldn't see that until you found a new everything. And now you're looking at everything a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? Has that happened to you? Have you witnessed that in your life? I have. So
Oh yeah, I think it's when you're solely and totally into the sort of like the last century indoctrination, and once you've got into that from the beginning, like and everything, it's the case, isn't it? You're just living your life as in going to work, leisurely activities, sleep, go to work, leisurely,
but you live just fine, right?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying.
You weren't
but that's all it
lacking
was.
something during that.
No.
Okay.
You're not aware. You're not aware of lacking anything, or
until
like
you
unaware of anything. Yeah.
Until you found something that, I mean, even words are hard to even describe this thing that happened to so many of us. So, is it also true that you were deceived greatly during that time where you didn't feel as if you were deceived? You didn't feel it. There was just general knowledge that debunks these kinds of things that we're thinking now, right? So I try to separate my old self from my new self, just in thinking about some things. And I realized one thing, and this is kind of the mind exercise. It's kind of like a challenge a little bit too. I realized something. Okay, we could do science and we could prove that the earth is flat and stationary, because it would tell us that the whole time. And it does. And we can test it. We can repeat it. All these things that we've done for 8 years, 7 years, 6 years, however long. They've shown us that science, if we were to use the actual, like, what science, not science falsely so-called, like our world is so interested in. That's one way to learn it, or to come by, or to approach it. But there's another way that I learned that so many of us also has experienced, and that would be that, similar to what I was just saying about what Jesus was praying about. He was praying for us, but it's just something that's in the Bible that is becoming true, or is true, or became true, or for so many of us, like, it's something that we can actually say, I was sanctified by the truth, or I am being right now sanctified by the truth. I'm learning these truths, and they're making everything like more, like David Weiss says, you never get bored.
No,
there's so much to learn, and so little time that you're just involved in that. If you're not doing things that you have to do, you're involved in that, you're doing it. But so what I was thinking is the Bible came true with flat earth too, because all of a sudden we find 200 verses that refer to different aspects of a stationary circle, like a flat circle, so the Bible is true. So the kind of the challenge here is, there's something, and I know we've talked about it now, me and Bobby have at least, about the possibility that, how do you even describe it, that the people, or I shouldn't even say people, but the deceivers, I'll say the deceivers, the ones that we believe have had something to do with this, and Run Boston Bear mentioned Satan. That's a good candidate for this, like in Revelation, it said he's deceived the whole world. And I'm sitting here going, there's a lot of us that we can see that, because we took this new understanding in. And once we took it in, it made it obvious to us that the old one was wrong, and that we were living our For me, 37 years of my life, I lived not aware of anything wrong, like not aware of just really anything. And that I've said to myself, like I would trim houses out, doing all the woodwork in houses, and I said to myself, what was going on up here for all those hours, all those years? Because you don't have to think very much when you're doing carpentry. I mean, you think for a little bit, but a lot of it's just repeated labor or whatever stuff. And you have plenty of time to listen to podcasts or whatever, or scripture or whatever. But so in the Bible, there's something else that we're not believing because it's just seems to be a little ridiculous. But what Paul said, and I believe what Jesus also said, but Paul said we don't struggle against flesh and blood. And then he says against the powers and principalities and the rulers of the darkness of this world and spiritual wickedness in high places, or against spiritual wickedness in high places. So when I look at those words, it actually says the cosmic power, like that's where Satan is the ruler, would be the cosmos. That's why I don't like the word biblical cosmology, because just that word cosmos it's like the ruler of this world. And so I guess it's kind of a weird word to me, because there is no cosmos that will be eternal. It's going to be thrown into the lake of fire, the cosmos and everything in it. So like, that's why I see flat earth to be like part of this gospel that Jesus said would be preached, the gospel of the kingdom. But so my challenge, or whatever the mind exercise is, if we think about what ways does Satan do deceiving? Does he use Hollywood? I'm sure he does. Does he use sports? I'm sure he does. He uses everything. But the stuff that Paul was telling the Ephesians, he was saying that sports and football or Hollywood or the Freemasons, or that all those things aren't where our struggle is. And that our struggle is actually against evil spirits that live in the cosmos. The cosmic powers of evil in the heavenly realm. They're up there in that darkness. And so something to consider, and then I'm going to be done talking, but something to consider is space. First of all, it's a new thing. Pretty new. Like low Earth orbit. Many times in the Bible, like those beasts, that everyone always talks about in the Bible, in Revelation and Daniel, they move over the face of the earth without touching the ground. They are a curse that goes forth over the face of the whole earth. We're looking at them as technology and a way to go to space or go to the moon, but that's not what they are. If man puts things up in there, they're coming back down, because they might stay up there for a long time. But when men start putting things up there, that's the time to probably people should start digging holes and start going under the mountains. And there's going to be things.
Sorry, can I just interject there when we're talking about space and NASA? I was having the conversation today that how can it be so? I mean, everybody, all of us, everybody in the chat, myself, everybody is got the access to the same information that we all have got. My conversation was sort of like, why? I always think about this: is why are we blessed with the ability to decipher and sort of treat all this with discernment and decipher out what's what and everything? But what I was talking about today was the fact that we watch videos on NASA and everything, and we've got we've got astronaut or actonauts sort of like commentating that they're up there, like when you talk about the ISS and all that lot, they're up there saying that we're up here experimenting on getting beyond Earth's orbit. So the fact that that is out there and people can see it, why are people still believing that we so-called went to the moon in '69 and yet they're there saying we're up here testing, sort of like trying to get out of or we're trying to get past the Van Allen radiation belts, we're trying to get beyond Earth's orbit, we're trying to and all that, and yet they went out in '69. Where's the sense in all that?
Oh, didn't you see Artemis? They filmed the egg. I mean,
Oh,
the moon.
yeah.
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 Like here's what I think. All those anything that they're doing up there, who's going up there to do it? That's sometimes they send a rover to Mars without anybody.
But there's already a camera up there filming it landing.
Oh, well, of course, because that makes sense. That's why. No, I think that all the things that they're doing up there, I don't think it's the people at NASA that, like, you know, when we see the big NASA celebrations and they're high-fiving and they're running around. Okay, I think that that's real. I think they really believe they're accomplishing these things up there.
I mean, the fact is, oh yeah, they're truly indoctrinated to the belief that what they're doing is actually genuine and that it's all compartmentalized, that only the people know what the shit's going on. And yeah, I agree with you. All these celebrations and everything, they genuinely think that they've achieved something.
They really believe in it. Yeah. And I just see it as to be that final battle happening where I don't think it's like a what is it, Armageddon? There's a dragon that's let out or let loose for a short time or whatever, right? Is that what that is? I think that's what that is. And then he gathers them up to go against God. And that's actually where that verse about the 3 unclean spirits like frogs, that's where that is. So the dragon that like, this is how real this is. And it's so real that most of the truthers would even just go, that's ridiculous. Like they'd say, Satan's not a rocket. And I'm like, I'm not saying I'm saying that he's a dragon. And there is a dragon that flies up there. Most of us don't believe in it. We don't think it's a dragon. We don't think it's anything but suspect. Like all of it. We don't have to know what's real, or is the dragon like falling into the Bermuda Triangle, or how did they get the astronauts up there to the space station? Why are they floating on the space station?
You know,
what
Joe,
I'm saying?
it's you're picking that apart is so powerful, because Revelation was once I saw you break it down, it became more eye-opening to me. Like when you think of the dragon gives him his great power, right?
Yeah.
The power is all the people being deceived, and none of these people would be deceived without these rocket programs. And you talk about he brings down fire out of the skies, and when you start all these things you start talking about, and the dragon, he talks about describing the dragon. You got the horns that just like it said, all these things in Revelation.
And it looks like a little, like to Daniel, it looked like a goat, like a he-goat. If you just Google a picture of a he-goat, and you're going to see, that looks just like that, you know?
Yeah, and I think it's dead on. Like, I mean, is it fact? No, it's not fact, but man, if you have eyes to see, it's kind of hard to deny, you know?
I was just reminded of another one yesterday. The feet of a bear. This beast had the feet of a bear. And that's so weird because like it kind of puts a little bit of timing like to the story, I think. I don't maybe know, but the feet of a bear, I think that's when like that space station, the only way they could fly up there was on the Russian Soyuz. So NASA for 9 years after they shut the shuttle down, they were only going on a Russian
That's right.
Soyuz.
That's
And
right.
to me, I'm just like, the feet of a bear, that makes sense. That's how they go up and down. Like, but then that dragon came after that.
And how do you move yourself with your feet, right? Like that's how do you propel how do you, yeah, that's deep.
And then the mouth of the dragon. I mean, even the video that NASA's playing, it's got like the side from the space station and the side from the dragon. So it looks like you're looking out of a mouth of something. It's like, I don't know how that, okay, what else could he be describing? Like people are like, no, that's not it. And I'm not saying that's fine. If you don't think that that's it, I don't think it's going to hurt either of us. But when you look at how many of these things, I mean, most of these visions, they're talking about the four winds of heaven, strove upon the great sea. That's not the ocean. The heaven has a sea of its own. And it's a great hanging sea. It's the waters above.
Yeah.
And so these beasts, they come up from the bottomless pit. Well, that's where we come to low Earth orbit and beyond. That's all a bottomless pit, literally. I'm not saying that it's real that anyone would ever experience that. That's how they lie to the world. Think about this. That's how the astronauts lie to the world, and they make it a globe because it has to be in order for the space station to orbit and not hit the ground. So they're telling everybody that if we go sideways, there's this place we can find if we go fast enough where you never need fuel again. And then, like, in order for that to work, you'd have to have curvature to fall around. That's why they're going 17,005. We can do the math, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is that we know the Earth's flat. And if you keep going sideways, you're just going that way. The ground is just still going to be beneath you. And so, like, it's frustrating to watch people believing this. And they have no reason to believe any of it, especially when we're out here pointing out the things that got us, that showed us. But yeah, I just had to comment. That was where I was thinking. I think Run Boston Bear, he was saying something about the deceptions or whatever. Like he was saying maybe starting with the more obvious ones, I think is what he said, and the ones that are obvious to us.
Yeah.
And that made me think a little bit. It's obvious to us that there was a globe, but then we learn the truth. And right now it's obvious to us that there's some elite that are lying to the world. Maybe that I'm just saying, if we,
I think for me as well.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go on, Joe.
I was just going to say, all I'm saying again is if Paul, what he said was right, then all the stuff that we're seeing NASA doing, that's just like if we were doing it. There's not, like, I'm not saying it's right. I still think it's wrong, but they're deceived. They think they're going to the moon. They think they're doing all these things. It reminds me of Thessalonians. Another thing Paul said, God will send them strong delusion so they believe a lie. I'm like, yeah, Run Boston Bear says, yeah, bro, the Globe Zealots don't want to talk about any deceptions. I mean, there's obvious ones. Yeah.
Hey, let me say this real quick. For anyone who likes the religious side of the house, tomorrow it's gonna be kind of more geared towards religion, if that's possible. We're gonna have Pastor Russell on. we're gonna have Pastor Russell on, Angelica, who comes from a very biblical standpoint, right? Like she loves scripture. I'm trying to get Joe on. Hopefully Joe will join us tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. But we'll be on for probably hopefully 2 hours. But it's just going to be roundtable talking, different things. But you're out. You said you're out tomorrow.
No. I was just saying. Hopefully, I'll be joining and just to simply learn more. Just to learn something.
Yeah. I sent you
Just
the
to
invite,
learn
of course.
something.
You're always part of the main crew. But
As I say, well, as I say, I'll just say to Joe that as far as I'm concerned, like, and I mentioned in other podcasts, that I can't come at all from a biblical point of view because I don't know enough. But I certainly know, and it's like I mentioned on my shows before, I certainly now know and realise this realm that we live in, and that the fact that it can only be intelligently created, and the fact that just is undeniable that there is an intelligent creator.
I'm no Joe Hill, but we're all weirdos, brother. That's true. That's true. I'll admit that we're all weirdos. But what should really blow everyone's mind is here's the thing about probably 99% of true earthers, if not 100% of true earthers. They all know that evolution's a lie. They all know the Big Bang's a lie. They all know that heliocentrism is a lie. And if they don't know yet, they should know is that this is a young Earth. It's not billions of years old. They've been lying with carbon dating. The Bible told you all that, right? The Bible knew all that thousands of years ago. And it goes deeper, right? It goes deeper. When you start reading stuff like the Book of Enoch and whatnot, which is one of the things that drew me to Joe's channel and some others. But it just gets deeper and deeper and deeper, man. The Bible is deep. And I did not know that. And here's the thing, like if you want to call yourself an educated man, it doesn't matter. Even if you don't agree with the Bible, I don't think you should call yourself like, you want to be educated. You should at least know about the Bible. You should at least read the Bible, because that's humanity's creation story. I mean, we've kind of agreed on that as a whole. Like the world has pretty much agreed that for the most part, we all kind of agree this is our creation story, right? And to not know that story, and I'll hear people make the lamest arguments, how'd they get all the animals in the ark? Well, that's right. They want you to believe they were you didn't have any of the fish in the sea. You didn't have the insects. They weren't all full grown. You could have had baby. Like, think about it. You didn't try to argue it from a creationist standpoint. You never attempted to. So all of their arguments are always really weak arguments. But you don't know that, right? Like when you come from the standpoint of an atheist, and because they tricked you into that with heliocentrism and evolution and Big Bang and all that, you just believe what they tell you. Oh yeah, they put 10 million species on an ark. Come on, man. Anyway, sorry about that, Joe. Didn't mean to step on your conversation there.
That's all good stuff. Totally true. How I look at Noah's Ark, and someone will say, "Oh, they couldn't have fit all the animals on there." I'm like, okay, well, however it happened, they did, and then we have a tale of it in the Bible. We have a story of it in the Bible. It happened, right? We have animals today.
Well, here's the thing.
However it happened, it happened.
I went to the Ark Encounter in Kentucky, which if you haven't been there, it is
that would be cool. I would love to go there.
It's amazing. It is amazing. I would go there. It's this massive boat, and you start at 3 levels, and you go in. They've got a team of PhDs, like PhD. We're talking.
I've watched. That's Ken Ham that set that.
Yeah,
up
Answers in
much,
Genesis. Right? Yeah, Answers in Genesis.
And I like, of course, I like him and Bill Nye walked through the thing.
That's all that the debate with them. Yeah,
and that's actually a good display of science, falsely so called. You can watch Bill Nye doing it the whole time.
Yeah,
and Ken Ham is just answering him with honest, not rebuttals, but just answers. And I think that place would be awesome to go to.
Well, here's the thing. As you go through, first off, they have like PhDs giving presentations, like explaining it, but they explain how it all works. And you sit there and go through there, and they're telling you, yes, here it is. Here's the species that would have had to have made it to give us like, for example, just one example, I'm going to throw this out there. And if anyone hasn't seen like either Ken Ham or Kent Hovind, who aren't true earthers, but they do give a lot of truth, talk about evolution.
I learned a lot from Kent Hovind.
Yeah, me too. And they talk about, like, for example, as you say, all the species of dogs, there's just dogs alone, there's probably thousands, right? But you only needed 2 dogs. Realistically, you only needed 2 puppies, right? And then all that diversity comes from those two dogs, because evolution isn't gaining information, it's actually losing information, right? If you look at wolves, which were like the first wolves, or they would have been, all the different dog breeds that come from them, the wolf has all the genetic information from every breed down, but all the animals below and at the bottom, like Chihuahuas, they're missing. They can never be a wolf again. Like you can take wolves and create Chihuahuas again. You can do that. You can breed them small. But that's because they have that information, that genetic information in them. But you can never take a Chihuahua and make them a wolf, because that genetic information has been bred out of them. And their genetic DNA sequences have been narrowed down, right, by selective breeding. And that's truly, so what scientists, mainstream scientists claim as evolution is actually devolution, right? It's a loss of information. Yep. But they break it all down. I mean, if you haven't been to that ark, I really enjoyed it. I went there and we loved it. So
yeah, I just seeing what you can see on YouTube of it, the place looks pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But yeah, that there's a lot of things in the Bible that people, like, it must have been something to watch, to be living in a town where there's blind guy sitting in the same spot every day, basically asking for money or for food or whatever. And that was just like a fixture of the town you were in, because he had to do that. He was blind. And so he'd sit there and people would help him out to live or whatever. And like, I always try to put myself in a situation like that. You're in some town or whatever, but I try to put it like normal. There's just someone that's always there with their sign or whatever, whoever it is. And then one day you see this blind guy and he's walking around not blind. And the first thing you're going to say is, was he scamming us all those years? And then his parents are going to say, no, he was born blind. We don't know why he can see. That's exactly what happened when Jesus was in, wherever he was. And like the Pharisees or whatever, they were like, well, he was blind. He wasn't blind then. And they're like, no, he's been blind from birth. Like they got his parents or he brought his parents or whatever, because they didn't believe him. And they're like, who did this? And he's like, I don't remember. I don't know who it was. And then later on, Jesus met up with them. And I just think that, could we believe that? Like, I think being a skeptic on things, I would have to say, I don't know. I think that guy was probably faking being blind. But what happened there was a supernatural event where, I mean, if we think about it, Jesus took and bent the laws of physics for a moment of time and fixed this person's eyes, and then allowed the physics to go back the way that they become laws. Like he broke those laws and fixed something physically. Okay, now I think he's doing the same thing today, but I think he's doing it like spiritually. Like, I'm not saying that he can't heal physically, but I'm saying I feel like I was blind my whole life, blind and deaf, but then all of a sudden I could see, and like I feel like that happened. So not that my eyes didn't work, but that they work better now, or my mind uses them in a different way now. I don't know how to describe it with words, but
so Joe, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What do you think now? I mean, I may be asking you to speculate, and you don't have to. Like maybe you
I love
avoid
speculating.
the subject. What do you think happens with people who, don't believe in God? Like, let's say you just don't believe in. I mean, is it clear? Like, if they don't believe in God, that they're not, is what the Bible says, that they're not going to get the, the kingdom of. I mean, is it their fault? Like what happened?
I think I think it is. I think it's about faith. I mean, it's about believing something. Now, tell me this. Did you believe in a globe? You did.
I did. I did.
I
believe-
did.
Yeah.
But I don't believe in it anymore. And yet the globe earthers. So what I'm saying is we are evidence that it's a belief that the earth is a globe, because we're the evidence. We don't believe it. It's a belief, but they won't admit it's a belief.
Yeah.
As they say, the belief is the enemy of knowing.
So what if I said, I believe the truth now? The Bible kind of tells me that is, if you reject truth, and then Jesus said so many times, believe in me. And I think in our day, he's manifesting himself as truth that destroys the lie.
Let me ask you something. I can't remember if I asked you this, Joe. I got a bad memory. This is controversial.
I love.
I ask everyone because I'm going to tell you right now, this causes arguments. It causes arguments, but I think I have a stance on it now. I'm not going to share mine because, but I'm curious. Like, are you vocal about it? Like, where are you on the Trinity?
You know what? I would have to say that all of that, when there's a dragon flying around in heaven that we can see with our eyes and we film it, and I have people that are subscribed to my channel that are really good at filming it. When there's a dragon flying up there, I don't care if it's real or if it's fake or if it's a demon or whatever it is. The Bible talks about a time when there'd be a dragon flying up there. And most of the people talking about Trinity have no clue that there's anything going on up there, or they say it's fake. They say that NASA people at NASA are faking it. But the Bible doesn't say that. The Bible says when there's a dragon flying up there, the Bible says that that's Satan deceiving the world. And some of us can overcome that deception. And I think we're on the right track anyway.
Yeah.
But so the Trinity, I would have to say that I think they're kind of arguing against themselves in a weird way. How do I describe it? The idea of
like,
God,
does it even matter? Does it matter?
I don't think that's what I'm saying. I think they're kind of stumbling over something that, because it's kind of both. If you think about it in the Bible, the way my understanding of the Trinity would be that you had like God, the Father in heaven on his throne, Jesus, the Son at his right hand. And then you'd have the Holy Spirit, or the Spirit of truth, that proceeds from the Father. That's what Jesus said that in the book of John, that he proceeds from the Father. And obviously he dwells in men, because like what Paul said about we're the temple of God. Our bodies are the temple of God. But that's not, I wouldn't I would also say that the temple of God is in heaven though. We're maybe like the temple of the Holy Spirit. And then, I think the Trinity, if you want to call that a Trinity, fine. But I think I don't know if the word Trinity is ever in the Bible, but the idea might sort of be there. But I don't think that there's anything to actually argue about.
I only learned recently that the Catholics preach that if you don't believe in the Trinity, you're going to hell. Like I think that's what I had heard. I don't know.
I don't think
weird stuff.
I think
man.
that is weird. That's really weird.
It's fun. JT.
Run Boston Bear says Sean at Kingdom in context explains it best, in my opinion. And that's where my mind went, because I know he's been debating that and stuff.
I watched some of his videos last night.
Run Boston Bear mentioned to Sean that there's a dragon flying up in the heaven, and that it's not being faked by men, because that's not what the Bible says. The Bible says that there's evil spirits in the heavenly realm, that's where our struggle is. That's where our battle is. So that's what Paul said. And that's a verse that I've found I never believed until now. And this is just my testimony. So now I said, well, what is this deception and where is it coming from? Then I was reading the book of Enoch, and I found out that these evil entities assume many different forms to defile us And then like in the vision of St. Paul, he said that they draw down to themselves the hearts of men. These planets, 7 wandering stars, they were the ones that well, that's another thing too. That
Joe,
they were rolling
sorry.
over a fire, and like he describes a solar system, and that then he said it was a prison for the stars and the host of heaven.
Mhm.
So space is a prison for the stars and the host of heaven, that like the wandering stars. Sorry, go ahead.
No, can I just ask you, Joe? Well, just while we're on the sort of like biblical topic, or it has been on my side, but have you got any views or any issues, sort of like regard?
You're cutting out. Do you want to say
yeah,
that again?
Yeah, say it again.
Am I cutting out?
Sounds
Yeah.
better now.
Right when the question was going, Bobby.
I know. Try just say it one more time, Stuart. We may get it this time. Maybe it was a glitch. Oh, now you're totally gone. You may want to type it and send it across. I don't know. You're probably a problem with your connection.
That's so weird how it just in the middle of like, because he was fine before. All right, I think maybe you're good now. Maybe. No.
Yeah.
Oh
no.
Still chopping out.
If you can hear me, I'm going to leave and rejoin.
Yeah, try rejoining. That may help. Yeah, well, he's popping out again. Yeah, Joe, if you get 2:30 Eastern Standard Time, I'm gonna do tomorrow. It's gonna be kind of a very, very, true Earth, but also everyone on there is gonna have a biblical stance. So it's gonna be be for an interesting show.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
I just love listening. I actually just emailed you, and then I was like looking on YouTube and you're live. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, anytime.
All right, your question you were asking.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it looks way better.
Like I say, I've been fine. And then it goes all.
It just went a little bit.
You're in and out. And out, Stu. Send the question. Just type the question because you're freezing, you're chopping, and everything.
Maybe even in the private chat.
Yeah, and hey, let me everyone here. If you enjoy this live stream, just do me 2 favors. Hit the thumbs up on it. I mean, it doesn't take anything but a second of your time, and give some love to Effed Up World. Just YouTube Effed, right, just like there it is right there. It's Effed Up World. You'll see his channel.
It doesn't stand for anything.
No, nothing at all.
No.
But if you like what Joe's talking about. I really enjoy how he breaks down Revelation. I was sharing his stuff years ago. Actually, I shared it to Angelica. It's funny because she's on the show, and I remember sharing it to her and multiple other people. It's really, really. I don't care who you are. It's a take you probably never thought about. And when I saw it, I instantly downloaded it and was blown away by it. And I was always a fan of Joe from then on. So I never thought I'd be speaking to Joe. Yeah.
Bobby, isn't that really weird? Like the way that makes sense can only make sense that way to us today or within the last whatever 10 years, or you know what I'm saying? Because that all those things that seem to be like you were saying verbatim, like whoa, this is describing something that we have in our world. These are new things in our world.
You know something that blows my mind, Joe? I don't know if you've thought about this. Is if you look at so a year ago or 2 years ago, whenever it was, I made up my mind. I said I want to be a soldier in God's army. I said that. I said I want to be on the front line. I want to. and here's the thing: is I remember watching you and watching David Weiss and watching Ben from Taboo Conspiracy and watching Jaron and watching. Eric Dubay, And, since I started putting my name out there and I started doing these videos, right, and giving my testimony, I've had a conversation with every single one of those people and some sort of a relationship, right? I've been on Jaron's show, and Ben has messaged me multiple times from Taboo Conspiracy, and David Weiss and Eric Dubé. I messaged him the other day and said, "Hey man, would you like to come on my show?" He said, "Hey, I saw your channel. I like what you're doing." And I was like, man.
Yeah. David Weiss is a special guy, man.
Yeah.
He's something super special.
And my point is that tell me we're not all in the same army, right? Like you tell me we're not. We are. We are. As soon as I said, I want to be a soldier in his army, I'm on the front line with these guys, right? Like that was how cool is that? Like that.
You know what's weird about it is that most of the people that would come to your channel or run, I should say, like come by your channel or something, like first timers, they might not know that there's a battle happening. What army? What are you talking about? What army?
Yeah.
And be like, well, just stick around and you'll see the kinds of things that we're fighting, because it's a different kind of war. It's not we don't have guns. We don't need guns in this war, but it is challenging to fight for our cause, or whatever you want to call it. It is challenging.
My reality, Stu, you're still choppy as can be. I'm watching you. You look like just a poorly made GIF. Our reality, Joe, it's refreshing when I finally get to talk to people like you that walk in the same reality as me, because I don't have a friend where I live, right? I have several that are, I can't say that. I mean, I have a few, but when you accept everything we've accepted, we understand that, man, reality has fractured. They're in one reality and we're in a whole other reality where we are absolutely, where there's the adversaries at the helm, he's the ruler, right? And that he is directing things, and that there's a war coming, and that war is close, and that's a whole other reality, right? And I think there's and the thing of it is even lukewarm Christians don't walk in that reality. Like most Christians, I think, I hate to say it, I think most are lukewarm, and they're not in that reality. They don't even see that. They're going to church and getting their morals. And I tried to take my daughter when I first came to the church and said, "Oh, I'm going to be a Christian." I went and got baptized again, but this time of my own volition, of my own will. And I started taking my daughter to Sunday school. And the first time I took her to Sunday school, when I walked, they said, "Oh yeah, it's right through those doors." I walked her in. They had astronauts lined on the walls, like they were all over. And I went ahead. I was there that day. I was coming, and I let her. It's a church, right? I let her, but we quit going to church. I was like, I can't do this. They're sitting here.
There's so many ideas that are like, I just at my grandma's funeral a couple years ago, I'm not going to say anything, but just what the pastor was saying, throughout the whole thing, I'm like, but that's not at all that's not what the Bible says, though. Like there's a, I don't know what you call it. Well, people call it churchianity or something like that, but there's like a going story that you believe if you go to church. And when I look at that story, it's all wrong. Like all the things that seem to go around at church, to me, it's, I guess I would say that, Bobby, you know what? You mentioned something, the third temple being built or something like that. That you said that there was something that had to happen yet. And the
temple on the mount had to be rebuilt, right? That happens just before the abomination of desolation.
But what about, because then the abomination of desolation stands in the holy place, right?
Yes.
So what if the holy place was New Jerusalem? What if the temple of God in heaven, because we know God sits on his throne in his sanctuary. I mean, it says countless times in the Bible how he looks down from on high. He's He's the most high God. He's literally the very top of everything. He looks down at us like grasshoppers, you know, and the firmament with it's like a tent to dwell in, you know. The things that we didn't believe about God, and like nobody in the world really did. Like I've asked so many people, well, where is heaven? And they have a hard time telling me where. Except if you ask a 4-year-old child, they haven't forgotten yet. They'll immediately say right there.
Yes.
Where's God
Yeah.
live? In heaven.
Yeah. Unless you're Chinese,
they
and then
know
it's
it.
down there, right? You know.
But so then I just say, okay, so it's true that God sits on his throne, and it's even become like realistic to me when I look up at the stars and I see the North Star and I see the other stars circling around that. I've come to believe that that's where God's throne is. If we were to try to locate it or whatever, so he's in a place that's above us, and so when I'm thinking about the standing on the Mount of Olives or whatever, and a temple being built, I think his temples, I think that has been being built, if I said that right, with this truth. How many people believe in the kingdom coming down out of heaven from God that's mentioned in Revelation, and it's mentioned all throughout the Bible? And that's what Jesus preached at the synagogues, the gospel of the kingdom. I'm just saying that kingdom is the one in heaven that comes down.
Yeah.
And I mean, like Sean from Kingdom in Context, he talks about it all the time. And he believes that it's like a literal structure coming down through the sky, and
like 1,500 miles wide or something ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's like it's obviously something that it's going to be world. It's going to be like legendary. Everyone, in the
you'll
world
see it
will
from
know
all over
about
the
it.
world. So, but you can see it from anywhere. Yeah,
and
I
that place, right now, it's up in heaven, where they're flying the rockets to and stuff.
Yeah.
And then so in Revelation it says they'll be treading New Jerusalem underfoot, or treading the holy city underfoot. The Gentiles would be for 42 months. And I'm just saying, I wonder if that has something to do with space exploration. They think they're going. And see, here's the thing: is the astronauts, I don't even see them as people anymore. I just see them to be evil spirits that are assuming those forms. It's mentioned in Enoch chapter 17. These flames of fire that he saw, they could appear as men when they wanted to.
Yeah.
So I think we've been entertaining angels.
Right, just to
Bad
test you
angels.
guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah,
loud
that
and
sounds
clear.
good.
Oh, you can
Loud
hear me
and
now.
clear.
Ah,
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. I've never had an issue, but there you go.
You're not choppy now or nothing.
No,
look
you're good now.
I don't know what that was all about, because, like I say, it's probably the first on this computer anyway. It's the first issue I've ever had, but there you go. I don't think I'm going to mention that word again, because it's every time I mention that controversial sort of.
We're on the edge of our seat, Stuart. We want to hear your question.
No, and now I'm sorry, but if I mention that word again and I go down again, it's not a conspiracy. It's something happening.
It's proven.
No, I just wanted your views quickly. See if I can get it out. I just wanted your views, Joe, on where you stand on the rapture.
I probably stand somewhere different than most people. What is the rapture? It's like what does that word mean?
I don't know.
What I'm trying to say is, I think if you ask Bobby, or if you ask you, Stuart, I think your answer would probably be similar to mine. Have you been taken out of the world and kind of placed in a different world?
Well, I don't know. Have I?
I'm not saying physically. I'm not saying physically.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is you've come out of this world we lived in, and this new. There's no mixing the two. They're like they're separate from each other in whatever way. To me, like I think the rapture. I think what that actually means is like to redeem. Like if I went to Sears and I saw, I want this oven for my house, and I purchased the oven. I don't pick it up at Sears. I go to their warehouse to pick it up. I go redeem it at their warehouse. Like that's the way I see that
Right,
word
right.
is he's paid for. I think he prayed about it again in John 17 when he was saying that God gave him people in the world, and they received his message, and then he sent them out he was going to send them out into the world, and he was praying that everyone would believe in him because of what their message that those people that he sent them with. And to me, I'm like thinking, the rapture could very well be happening in these years that we're learning the truth. You know what I'm saying? And
I mean, obviously, I mean, my belief on it is, and what we've talked about is, I don't know that whether the times are going to come that I don't know whether it.
Well,
gets
he said what Jesus said was that he would raise. I will raise you up on the last day. And so the last day would be probably a day of destruction where there's fire coming down from the sky and God that destroys all these wicked things or whatever. Well, if that's the last day, then I would see that day to be the rapture or whatever. I would see that because like, you saved by the blood of the lamb or whatever. If you think about it, what if the world's being destroyed, then you probably will be called up into the sky to the clouds or whatever.
Is your view on it? Is your view on it that sort of like if you're a sort of like a total atheist or whatever, that you're left behind to deal with whatever?
I don't know. It's hard. I guess I'm not real sure about a lot of these things, but I do have, I think that most of the things that we understand a certain way, there's another way to understand some of them. And I think a lot of us, we're learning that right now. I mean, we're learning.
Yeah. I mean, I've had many of controversial debates over this, sort of like with family and whatnot. And it's like, sort of like, I mean, my own belief, and call me sort of like, I mean, I don't know. My own belief is that as long as I think, and I mean, when the end of times come, and I truly, honestly, I think we're living in tremendous times at the moment, and I'm glad to be alive at this present moment in time, because I personally think that we're going to be seeing the end. I personally think we are going to be seeing the arrival of the Creator, and that I believe that if you've been sort of pure in your soul, if you will, and you've abided by His laws. And that, I'm sure that he's gonna take you away from all this. That
he said he's going to many of the prophets.
Yep.
Let's see here. I even have verses right here that I could. This is crazy. This is in 2nd Esdras. You mind if I read a verse quick?
Go right ahead. Yeah, absolutely.
In 2nd Esdras 7, verse 26, it says, "Look, the time is coming when the signs appear that I told you about in advance, and the city will appearing as a bride, and the land that is now hidden will be openly displayed." And then he says, "Everyone who is rescued from the evils foretold will see my wonders." You guys, the things that are in the scriptures, those prophets, like I'm just giving credit to the authors. I think it's probably the Holy Spirit or the Word of God, literally, which would be the Son of God, showing up to these prophets and saying, "Write this down."
Yeah.
And they did. If that's the case, we are talking about something very supernatural.
Yeah.
And
Joe, I've got a question now.
Yeah.
I get the impression you've read a lot of the Apocrypha. Have you read it all?
I think I've read most of them. I mean, I think I've read a lot of them. I don't know of any that I haven't read, but some of the ones you mentioned or some of the stuff you mentioned, I wasn't aware of. And like, again, Sean at Kingdom in Context, if you want to know about all the books, he knows about all that stuff. Yeah. That guy has more knowledge about.
I just got turned on to him. I've been all this time. I didn't know. I just got turned on to the guy.
And the thing is that I think he's you know, I don't know exactly his past, but I think his dad is a missionary or a but I think he's been like through school and stuff about the scriptures, and so now he can even have more of a. There's a few people like this, I think, in the biblical creation circles or whatever, but he has a point of view that's very interesting because he was taught these things like to be a teacher of it, or you know what I'm saying, like if you go to school to, what do they call it, seminary or whatever, like if you're learning that stuff, and then you start seeing this stuff in the scripture for yourself, and it clashes with that stuff. He has a very interesting point of view, and he, because he has so much knowledge about the Bible and just all these scriptures. So
I've shared the story, and I'll summarize it in like 30 seconds. The most religious person I knew in high school, he went to church every Sunday. Like I considered him someone, I looked up to him as, I admired that. Even though I wasn't religious, I thought those people were cool that knew the Bible, that could quote from the Bible, right? When I became religious, I looked him up and I went and visited him. I didn't tell him I'd become religious. I was so excited because he had went to seminary college, and I had heard he was a certified preacher, whatever. He finished it. So when I got saved and I looked him up and I went to go hang out with him, we had switched places. He was no longer a man of God.
I remember you telling me about that. Yeah.
And I was like, can you imagine? Like, he was probably looking like, oh, now I'm going to hang out with this guy. And I've changed.
You're like, now I can learn from this guy.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah. That's weird.
But how crazy is that? Like, I think the seminary colleges dumb them down, right? Like I honestly think that those are to find and select the ones they want running the sellouts that run those institutions.
Probably a lot like the, I just lost my train of thought. Yeah, sorry, I lost it.
Wait till you turn 50. It gets worse, brother. It gets worse.
It?
Yeah, a lot. It gets a lot worse.
Getting close. I saw that someone in the chat said that I look like most or every other person they've seen holding a sign that said the end is nigh.
Man, I went in.
It was winter here, so the beard gets a little smaller during the summer. Yeah.
I made up my mind. I'm going to grow out my beard, right? And I'm just going to let it grow a natural beard, just to get, a natural full beard. But the other day I went into a barber shop. I hadn't been in. I get it cut on base because I'm ex-military and I go on base. But I went to this barber shop and the lady said, "Want me to trim your beard?" And I've never had my beard trimmed. It's never happened, right? And I was like, "Yeah, go ahead." She goes, "Yeah, we'll knock off the." And man, when I looked in the mirror, I don't like the beard she gave me, right? Like this young,
like really short, or
it just, I don't like it dipping down here. I don't like it. She raised it all high up. And I'm like, all I wanted you to do was knock off but once she started, I was like, I was like, oh man, what'd you do to me? But I'm not going to, I said, well, I'll just let it grow back in and just let it start growing out. But anyway.
Boston Bear says, yay for beards.
Yeah.
So I'm working on mine. I do not like how it looks right now. Just kind of I'm not that kind of prissy beard guy. Like,
yeah,
anyway.
I mean, you have to go through that stage in order to get it longer or whatever. You got to start somewhere.
Well, I would normally never trim it the way it's trimmed. The way it's trimmed, it was a one-off. It happened.
It just happened.
It just happened.
And now you're on YouTube showing it off to everyone. No, I'm just kidding.
I know.
I've learned it doesn't really matter what you look like on YouTube. You just got to be yourself. Just be yourself. That's
definitely
the best way.
Definitely, yeah.
Because people, they'll accuse you no matter what you look like or who, how you act. But if you just act like yourself, it's probably the best.
Sim Claus said, "F.E. Coffee, did it rain upon the earth before the flood?" So I from what I understand, it was a mist that came up from the ground. Yeah, same.
Yeah, that's what I understand too.
Yeah. The Bible is, man. I tell you, if you just read it, it's fascinating, right? Like that's the thing. No one will tell you that. When you go to church, I think they pick they just pick the driest stuff. There is some. It's like they think they do that on purpose so you won't read the Bible. They don't tell you that like angels fell down and mated with women and had giants. They leave all this out of it, right? Like they don't tell
And it
you
was
any
like
of that.
crazy story. Like
Yeah.
it was so crazy that God sent a flood to like just like start over
Yeah.
with Noah. That's
They,
crazy.
they don't tell you why. They just say there was a flood. And that's another reason that atheists are like, oh yeah, then why'd God kill all the people? And you're like, you just don't know the story, right? You know,
They people?
right. Their flesh was corrupt and they were living in sin, right? They were sinning
They were killing the people. They were
Yeah.
eating the people. Like
yeah, they were
Yeah,
worshiping,
they
they
were-
were sacrificing children, right?
yeah.
They were worshiping false gods. They were worshiping Baal and sacrificing children to make, it was crazy.
Okay, another quick verse. Ready?
I'm ready. Do it.
I'm
Go
just gonna
for
throw
it.
these in when I can. Just for fun. This is the what is this? Is it's 2 Baruch 51 verse 8. For they shall behold the world which is now invisible to them, and they shall behold the time which is now hidden from them. Just saying. Almost like there's a lot of these prophets that were told the truth. And when we believe what these prophets are saying, or when we just hear what they say, we're like, whoa, that's what world invisible to them now, but they'll see it
Mhm.
and it'll be openly displayed later. And what do you know? People still won't believe in it. That
So
like
it
some
kinda-
people still won't believe in it. It's almost
Yeah.
the same story. I think it is the story that we're living in, which is
Can I
really
just-
weird.
Can I just, sorry, guys. Don't mean to break your flow here. I just want to interject. I mean, I was just reading some of the comments. I've just been talking to Splosh Magnets in the chat there, and apparently he lives right by where I used to live, and just one of his comments there is, does anyone feel blessed for not receiving the Pfizer freebie? Does anybody who's on this journey, do you think any of them have had the old Pfizer freebie?
Well, not if they've been on this journey for 2 to 3 years, right? No.
Well, yeah, but no.
'Cause
I found that actually hilarious. That was good and splosh.
it exposes everything, right? Like your last thing you're going to
Yeah.
do is trust the government, right? After,
Well,
if they're
yeah,
lying to you
yeah.
about the shape of the earth, you're not going to trust them for anything.
Well, I mean,
Sim
yeah, I was
Claus
talking-
asking, what does it imply? Or was
What
he?
does what-
what-
what
he
does
was.
what imply?
I think he was. Maybe the verse I read in 2 Baruch.
Oh, right.
Well, it basically said that there'd be a world hidden from people, and then at some point in time, it would be openly displayed. I guess what that would imply, or what I'm implying, or what I'm speculating, we'll say, is that maybe that's happening to us. Maybe that was talking about us when he wrote it, because it said didn't say when it would happen, but that it would happen. It was the same as that other verse in 2nd Esdras. It said, the time's coming when the signs appear that I told you about in advance, and the city will appear, appearing as a bride, and the land that is now hidden will be openly displayed.
Man, I tell you, here's the thing is I listen to so much scripture. I do. And I love, when I go to bed at night, I'll usually watch at least one thing related to scripture. I'll try to watch like right now. I can tell you now I'm going to be on this big Kingdom and Context rip. Like I'm really enjoying his stuff. But the thing of it is
he has a
5
video.
years
I just got to say, he has a video called it's the Gospel of the Kingdom is in the title. It's not a long video. I think it's maybe like 8 minutes or something. You got to watch that one. That one touched my heart.
Yeah,
he
I will.
Yeah. The Gospel. Of the
I'm probably going
Kingdom.
to watch all his videos. Like I watched
Well,
him.
you'll have a lot. You'll have a lot to watch.
I watched him handle some really rude debaters, like this last guy. It's like one of the recent videos. The guy came on and was just rude, and
It
he's
was
so
a guy
nice
that's like,
about
"You're
it.
not a flat earther, are you?" Or something.
Yeah,
like that.
that guy.
Yeah,
and
you know
was,
what? I almost wanted to clip that video because Sean stood his ground and told the truth of the Bible right to the guy.
But here's the
And
thing.
I love how Sean was acted from there.
Now I
He acted
didn't.
to
Was that guy supposed to be a Christian? That guy's supposed to be a
I think
Christian. The
so,
other guy,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Could you see how
But-
smug and
Yeah,
how he was
because thought-
acting?
because he
It's
thinks
like-
flat Earth is ridiculous.
Well, but here's the thing. He wasn't being very Christian, and that just goes to show you That's not a true
Yeah.
Christian, right? Like that's
Well,
the
he's-
result.
Maybe the truth. This is what Jesus was praying about, and I keep bringing this up, but it's because he prayed about one thing. He said that these people that he was going to be sending out, he said, sanctify them with the truth. That, like, he was praying that they would be sanctified by the truth. What does that mean? Does it mean to be like cleansed? What does sanctified mean? My vocabulary is not very good, but I think that means to be like cleansed by the truth. And how could that happen? I don't know, but that's what he was saying would happen.
Yeah.
And I think it's him, cleansed by him, or the spirit of truth, something like
Yeah.
that.
I've already watched. I just someone turned me on. I can't remember who it was, but someone turned me on to Kingdom in Context the other day, and I could already tell it's going to be one of my favorite channels. Like this was once I was watching him. Dude's phenomenal. He
Ken does
Albrecht
tons
is
of
too.
other stuff too. Like he also has a channel called Brave Believer, and he
Okay.
also is on a channel with Wes Blaze where it's called I can't believe I can't remember that. It's one of the, I watch it almost every time. Uncommon Ground or something like that, or yeah, Uncommon Ground. Why am I having a hard time thinking of that? Anyway, they do a show about biblical cosmology together. Wes Blaze and Sean Griffin.
Oh, I'd like to know what that one is. I know he talks about it on the show.
You know
but
what?
he does
I
one
can
where-
get a link and put a link
Yeah.
in a private chat.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I'll do that.
Someone
right
sent
now.
me the other day a video, and it was very interesting. And I don't think it's wrong to look at things that kind of. This video was suggesting that Jesus's millennial reign already happened. It had happened in the Dark Ages, right?
I've heard that. I've heard it a lot.
It was an interesting. I will say this: like, am I subscribing to it? No.
I'm the same way.
But it raises a lot of questions. Like I'll tell you
does.
right now, it raises a
Yes.
lot of questions. Holy cow, man!
It does. And like there's a channel that was talking about that possibility, and they were going to go through Revelation, and I only made it through one of their videos, but I did leave a comment that said, "You're making me think." Like that's his name was Shade Stone, I think. Okay, let's see here. I've got the link, I think.
He said Uncommon Ground. That's what he said. Adam said.
Yeah,
that's it,
they
Uncommon
just did a
Ground.
video, I think, yesterday. They
All
just
right.
did a live, and here it is. I put it in the
Cool.
private chat.
I will check
Should
that
be
out.
the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good show too. They do some weird stuff on there. Like they're making like I think they call it the firmament model. Like they're trying to make like a physical model of the earth, like a biblical model or whatever. And I see some issues with it, but at the same time, that's not for me to. I'm not here to debate that. I just there's probably just some things that might be a little different than what's obvious to us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I suppose I'm gonna get out of your way, and I will try to hang out tomorrow. Though you said 2:30.
Try to jump in. Yeah, if you got nothing going on, jump in. We're just gonna have some
Yeah.
fun. Stuart, if you got anyone here that wants to jump in, make some time tomorrow. I'll share the link. If you want to, as long as you're not a troll, you're welcome to jump in, join the fun. Let's just question each other. Let's just, man, I love picking people's brains. Joe's brain intrigued me a long time ago, so it's always fun when he comes on. I love watching his videos because they will throw you for a loop. Just you'll see what I mean if you ever go check them out. Joe, thanks for coming on, brother. Man,
Yeah,
you're
I'm glad
always
you guys
welcome on
were-
the show.
I love listening
Yep.
to you guys, and Run Boston Bear was making me think again. So that's
Nice meeting up with you, Joe.
Yeah, you too, Stuart. You guys, I love hearing you guys talk, and just I don't know, something about this channel. It's gonna grow. I can
Mhm.
tell.
Yep, keep dropping in. Help us out. and
Excellent. Yep.
All right, you guys have a good one,
Yep.
and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow.
All right,
Yep.
take care, Joe.
All right, see ya.
Yep.
See ya.
Take care, Joe. See you later.
All right. So I don't know about
It
you,
looks
but
like- It looks like Willis has done a runner before and never come back. But
Yeah,
have you thrown him out?
we'll close out on a. Well, he wasn't there. Just like the guy that was Rob, the mechanic. Like, if you want to come on and join us, absolutely join us. I'd love to have you on, but I don't think anyone wants to watch like a screen, a car tire being changed or whatever it was. Not knocking you in any way. I do my own mechanics, but
But it's been it's been a great show tonight. Absolutely thoroughly enjoyed it. Well, it's been 3 hours 20 minutes. I think that's a record for me to stay on for. But no, once again, Bobby, I'm going to retire as well. So, but again, it's been a fantastic show, and I've enjoyed, like I say, I've enjoyed the chat tonight. I've been participating in the chat and everything, and guys, thanks a lot for coming along and supporting this channel. You've had some nice comments tonight, Bobby. So yeah, and it wouldn't be the same obviously without these people, without all the people.
Oh yeah, they give us plenty to like. I just half the time I'm just reading the comments, like and
yeah.
I just feel the love, right? Just coming, man. I love this community.
Yeah.
Right. I love
the amicable conversation. I mean, I've seen some people sort of like in the chat when I've been watching the chat, and as I say, some of it's amusing, and but it's just the respect that nearly everybody in the chat has for pretty much everybody, even though they may disagree.
Sometimes I get jealous of the conversations they have going on. I'm like, man, y'all have your own thing going on. This is great.
Yeah. Sometimes I haven't got time. I'm trying to sort of like maybe put in here, and then I see a comment, and I want to go into the chat, and it's like so much going on in there. And we appreciate it, guys. We love you, and keep it up, keep coming, and like Joe said, we can only grow, I think, because it's conversations like this that sort of. I mean, we're not nutters, we're not loonies, we're not off our head crazed pots that think we live on this so-called sort of stupid flat earth, and we just got to get the word out there, and hopefully we can keep having these respectful topical conversations. So once again, Bobby, thanks a lot, mate, and I've enjoyed myself tonight, and again to chat, cheers guys, and I will see you all. Well, I'll probably join you tomorrow night if I should be free tomorrow evening. And I'll join you on that one. I'll probably have much input on that because, like I say, I can't come from it.
It's fun to be a fly on the wall, man. It's just you're always learning. That's what matters.
Yeah,
I find it. Yeah. I'll see you tomorrow then.
Yep, I'll see you tomorrow, guys. All bye.
Yep, and I just wanted to say my thanks to everyone. Thanks everyone for dropping in. Let Stuart hop out and. Had a great time. Another great live stream. Thank you, everyone. Again, every Friday and Saturday, 2 to 2:30, somewhere in there. I think it's going to be 2 on Saturdays, 2:30s on Sundays, Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to do Tuesdays and Wednesday nights. And I might even try to add on another day. And just trying to do more. And I'm working on some more videos. Don't worry. I'm actively working on some. I think you're going to like them. So hopefully maybe a week. Hopefully I should get one out and then another one right behind it. So all right, guys, have a good night. Till next time, take care.